Everything live, everything works, good. So, welcome back. My name is Raidra. Welcome to Voice of Storms. Welcome back welcome back, I'm an idiot. Welcome back to my stream of Angels with Scaly Wings. After our last stream fell a bit short because of me just not feeling well, and apparently it's in terms of the save state, me making again an entire month of a break. I decided I wanted to go on with the stream. I got my motivation back since I needed because Persona 3 Reload came out 2 weeks ago and I want to play it finally, and other stuff happened. So yeah, what now I need to remember what we did last time. I think it was, yeah, we had another date with oh fuck, I forgot her name. With the red Anna. Right, her name was Anna. And we learned about Maverick's past, but yeah, like I said, this time I need to get my mindset up again because my stupid brain forgot a lot of shit. And yeah, all I knew was we were still on the lookout for what's his name? Why? Yeah, Reza. Now I remember the guy who sounds like Frieza. Refused to help Bryce 99 times. What the fuck? There are some interesting achievements. I hope they are not. I kind of hope they're chronological. A single playthrough. At the same time, do a utterly pointless achievement, do a thing. Okay. Good. What do we do? I think I'm in the mood to go on on a date. To go visit Remy. He told me to meet him in the lobby, but nobody's here. Maybe I should look for him. Maybe I should look for him. He can't be too far after all. It was quite. Fuck. Okay, I have to read this later. It was quite a spacious building, lined with many bookcases on multiple floors. From the looks of it, it seemed to be as much of an archive as it was a library, with immaculate order permeating the chamber. It was the kind of place I could see myself getting lost in for an afternoon or two, thumbing through all the interesting books it could offer me. I was looking around in wonder, when suddenly a voice penetrated the silence. Remy! I couldn't see who the voice belonged to, but it came from the more private area in the back. It was followed by footsteps that approached it. Oh, you're still here. Of course I'm still here. I have business to attend to. Certainly, I just assumed you'd be done by now, Amara. Guess your assumption was wrong then. Be a good boy and bring me some coffee, will you? Of course, Amara. I heard more movement, though I still could not see either of the two who spoke behind all the bookcases. I assumed the area was off limits to a visitor like myself and decided to wait. Here you go. Now let me read in peace, you silly boy. Of course. I heard him walk towards my direction until he emerged from behind a bookcase and spotted me. Oh, hello Ryder. I didn't expect you so soon. No. Well, I'm glad to see you again at any rate. Who was that back there? I guess you heard that, didn't you? That was my superior. She's the Minister of Culture and Arts, which means I'm technically in her employment, though generally speaking, I work for the council at large, not just her. So, this is where you work, huh? Most of the time, yes. That makes you a librarian, I suppose. There's a little more to it. I'm not just in charge of the books, I'm a scholar and study them too. For example, if the council requests knowledge on certain topics like facts, statistics, or other information of interest, it is part of my job to research it and present it to them in an appropriate manner. So basically you're an expert in everything. No, just an expert at finding information. Mood. Anyway, there was a particular reason why you wanted to meet me. You're too damn cute, that's why. I don't want to flirt with every fucking dragon. Water. I should get myself some water over the days. Oh yeah, second word. I was interested in what you said the other day. You have myths about humans? Alright, I still have work to do, but I could show you something afterwards. Either way, now that you're here, you could help me with something. I've got some books that need to be sorted over there. Alright, how do we fit them? Alphabetically? Oh no, the arrangement you see in this library is based on a sophisticated system that sorts everything in a very intuitive manner based on a number of criteria: genre, author, complexity, and age. As you can probably tell, we have a lot of specimens, so just sorting them by alphabet would be far from suff and efficient. That does sound... That sounds complicated. It's not that hard, I show you. Basically, these 8 books you see over there are all part of a section that was moved, so they have to be sorted into their new area. The problem is their labels are so old that they have started to fade away, which makes sorting them a little harder. They will get new labels soon, but until then we'll just have to make do with what we have here. All of them are by Hasik Akil, a writer on the subject of history, and a very prolific one, I might add. You will find this shelf they belong to over there. Now it's just a matter of placing them in the right order from oldest to newest. I have written down everything still legible from the old labels here. For some like you, putting them in order shouldn't be a problem. In any case, I'll be looking on something else in the meantime, so let me know once you're done. Hints. Oh no, hints. If you have to give me hints! The third war is directly preceded by the Spark. The first war is directly preceded by the Inception. The Invention is not the third, 7th, or last book. The second war is the 4th book. There is only one book before the first war. The Enlightenment comes at some point after the oh fuck, Nugget 9. I need a fucking note for that one. Okay, good. I need to do this the stupid way for now. And get the stream like this. Cause we need a post-it for that one. The Enlightenment comes at some point after the third war. Are you fucking? The first book is... Wait. Show hints again. The Enlightenment was the last one we read. Okay, let's do this the old-fashioned way. The third war is directly preceded by the Spark. Preceded meaning that it comes before... No. Okay, wait. The third war is directly preceded by the Spark. Now my stupid German brain needs to figure out what preceded means. If it means before or after. Okay, precede means it comes before that. Okay, the third war is preceded by the spark. So the spark is at least the first one in that order. The first war is preceded by the inception. So that means directly preceded. Yeah, we have to consider it's directly preceded. The inception precedes the first war. The invention is not the third, seventh, or fourth book. Negativ zu 3, 7, last. Nee, warte. Wait a minute. I need a better symbolization for that. Okay. The second war is the fourth book. There's only one book before the first war. There's only one book before the first war. Meaning the first war is directly preceded by the inception. Meaning the inception is the first one. The first war is then the second one. Okay, we can move that out of the way. The second... Wait, okay. Second war is the fourth book. There is only one book before the first war. The Enlightenment comes at some point after the third war. At some point after the third war. Okay, and the invention can't be the third, seventh, or last book. Meaning wait a minute. The third one is directly preceded by the spark. There's only one book before the first war. The only book before the first war is the first war is directly preceded by the inception. The second war is the fourth book. We have two ultimates already. We know there's only one book before the first war, meaning the first war is the second book. The first war is directly preceded by the inception, meaning the inception is 1, and the second war is definitely the fourth book. The invention is not the third, seventh, or last book. So it has to be either 5 or something else. The problem is we can't put either the spark or the third war in place free, since place 2 and 4 are already locked because we have ultimates on that places. There's only one book before the First War. The First War is directly preceded by the Inception. The Invention is not the 3rd, 7th, or last book. The Second War is the 4th book. There's only one book. The Enlightenment comes at some point after the 3rd book. Means there has to... Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. It can't... There has to be an 8th book we didn't heard of yet. What we can do is put in the ultimates that we already have, and figure out if there is a book that did not that we didn't got yet. So, but the first book has to be let me reread that. First one is the Inception. I just had to be sure because I didn't saw the Inception. Show me more books. The Inception. Show me more books. The First War. Okay. The 3rd book. Now is the... It can't be the Second War. It could be the Tribe. It can't be the Invention. It can't be the Enlightenment. Could be the Tribe. It has to be the Tribe. The 4th book should be the Second War. Okay, wait. We have 5 books left. No, not 5. Okay, we have 4 books left. We know this... Wait a minute. We now have the 5th book. The 5th book is the Invention. The Invention has to be the 5th book. Because it can't be the 3rd, it can't be the 7th, it can't be the last. If it is not the 5th, we have only 8 slots. If it is not the 5th, no, it has to be the 5th, because we only have 3 books after that. The Spark, the 3rd War, and the Enlightenment. And those 3 come directly after each other. More likely, the Spark comes definitely after before the 3rd War, and the Enlightenment comes sometimes after the 3rd War, which in that case meaning nothing, because the 3rd War is the 7th book, and by that the Enlightenment has to be the last book. So the Invention can only be the 5th book. The 6th book is the Spark, the 7th book is the 3rd War, and the 8th book is the Enlightenment. I think that's it. Boy, that was way too much thinking for my brain right now. Oh. Now, excuse me, I have to get back on the full screen. I think that's it. Oh, you're done? Let's take a look then. Seems you got it all right. Well done, Radra. Oh Gott. Ich hab's geschafft. That was hard work. It gets easier with practice. In any case, there's a box here that belongs in storage. You can put them away. I'll finish the last bit of sorting and then we'll be done for the day. Sure thing. Great. See you in a bit then. That is heavier than I thought. I lifted the box and carried it towards the shelf, but just as I was about to reach it, I tripped suddenly, sending me to the ground as the content of the box spilled across the floor. Ouch! I scrambled to gather the various items as the voice of the dragon called out to me. Is everything alright? Before I could answer, Remy came around the corner, his face bearing a look of disapproval. He stooped over and helped me pick up the spilled objects. Yeah, I'm fine. I was mainly asking about the priceless artifact. You just dropped. Sorry? Well, it doesn't look like anything is broken. That could have ended up much worse. What is all this stuff anyway? In preparation for your arrival, I wanted to study what knowledge we had on humans. And what did you learn? Not much. The human is a creature shrouded in mystery and legend, yet one we apparently share some history with. Sure, Dragon. Tell me I'm the mythological creature. As the story goes, we dragons were once a primitive and savage civilization, living in caves and whatnot. We fought other creatures and amongst each other for resources and territory. One day, however, a human arrived who performed many miracles and gave us the gift of electricity and reason. We refer to this event as our awakening. What happened to them? And who were they anyway? They say it was a divine creature, a supernatural being that saved our species by making peace between our clans and uniting us, as our numbers were dwindling from the pointless conflicts. And when the deed was done, they ascended to the heavens from where they came, or turned into a dragon and lived among us, ruling with kindness and wisdom until they eventually passing, depending on who you ask. And what do you make of the story? As unlikely as it sounds, there is evidence of sudden, unprecedented technological advancement in our timeline. We have artifacts from that time that couldn't have been built in it with the knowledge we had back then. I'm starting to think you already have a theory. Indeed. I take it you are familiar with the way the portals through which you travel here actually work? Not very. Not at the moment. It's simple, really. They are spontaneous wormholes that pop into existence now and then, but their highly unstable nature means that they instantly collapse in and on themselves. The machinery of the portal merely stabilizes the wormhole so that we may utilize it. We actually are just taking advantage of a naturally occurring phenomena. That's pretty cool. Long story short, my theory is that this legendary person stumbled upon one of these natural wormholes in the split second it existed, bringing them into our world. Being thrust into an unfamiliar world with no means to return to their own? Talk about being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Or just the right one, if you ask me. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here today. What I would give to know more about them. How do you know so much about the portal anyway? We found it a while ago, so we've had time to study it. Not me personally, mind you, but I followed its development with great interest. What else did you discover about it? Not much. I'm afraid we didn't want to take the risk of permanent damage, so we don't do anything rash until we completely understand the technology and can replicate it for ourselves. So far, the only thing it has done for us was locating your portal, connecting us to it. From the interface, it appears to have more functions, but we haven't been able to get any of them to work. We were not even sure it was capable of when we initially turned it on. Only after some time of being active did it actually find your portal, and only then were we able to make the connection. Making that discovery must have been very exciting, especially when you made contact with us and started exchanging letters with us. Oh, you have no idea, especially when Reza arrived and he turned out to be a human, of all things. Some people still worship them, you know. You mentioned that before. How does that work? Do you have some kind of organized religion based around it? Not exactly. It's more like an adoration on a personal level. I'd count myself amongst them if it wasn't for the fact that I consider myself to have more reasonable approaches to it than others. For example, there are those that believe there is much more to your sudden appearance than there really is. I think they expect some sort of miracle from you, similar to what has been ascribed to humans in the past. Well, I can't... Well, I can tell you that there's nothing supernatural about me. That's what I expected. Either way, as a scholar, I'm looking forward to see everything your PDA has have to offer. I could show you sometime. I see. Well, don't worry about explaining them to me. I'm sure you have more important things to do while you are here. It is just a question of time until one of them ends up being with me anyway. Actually, the PDAs are one of the reasons I volunteered to come here. What do you mean? I know them pretty well, enough to explain how they work at least. Of course, that's far from the only reason. I just thought I'd be the kind of person who'd meet all of the requirements, and it turned out it was. I see. It was nice for you to volunteer when you must have known there would be considerable risk in coming here. You volunteered as well when you came to meet me, didn't you? I wouldn't think this kind of thing would fall under your jurisdiction regularly. That is true, but by this point my interest in these matters shouldn't surprise you. I was more surprised that I arrived under cover of darkness to meet an ambassador, though I haven't seen much of you since. Initially they wanted to have an official reception headed by myself, but in the end they changed their minds due to security concerns, as I told you back then. I suppose that's also why I'm being escorted by the police all the time. Yeah, that was supposed to be my job too, until someone from the police department objected and advocated for more security. But to be safe than sorry, I suppose. I kinda take it that this was Maverick's idea. Let me guess, that someone was... I don't even need to say anything! I just had this... Wow! Talking about predictable. How do you know that? Just a hunch. At least I still got to meet you. Were you nervous when you did? Only the brave or the foolish wouldn't be. I consider myself neither. I have to admit, I was too. I was speechless when I saw you, and that wasn't just a side effect of the teleportation. To be fair, I would have been as well if we didn't already know about humans in Riza. There was a moment of silence between us, and our eyes met briefly when suddenly a loud call echoed through the building. Remy! I better go and see what this is about. Maybe it would be better if you didn't stay out in the open. At the end of the hallway, you can find my office towards the right. Wait for me there. All right. So this is your office, Remy. Remy's fresh, look at his notebooks, drink his coffee, look in the mirror. I think I'm being a bit sneaky and look at his notebook. Heavy paper, perfect binding. I can tell by the cover alone that this is not the cheap stuff, but the result of quality bookmaking. Alright, let's take a peek inside. Looks like unsorted notes. His handwriting is terrible. Nope, can't make it out. It's just a mirror, nothing special about it. Nobody will believe if I find this browser history. I wonder if the computers are similar to ours. Let's see. At the press of a button, the screen came to life, accompanied by the whir of the machine. After a few seconds, colorful images appeared on the screen. Have you come here to beg for mercy? I hate dragon names. No, Aliyah. We've come to stop you. Your reign of terror over the land of Maroa is over. You're outnumbered. Just give up and we can end this without bloodshed. The area is teeming with my soldiers, outnumbering you 1,000 to 1. But I don't need them. Who knows? If you survive long enough, you might just see why I'm called Aliyah, the Ascended. Oh, you promptus! I think I need a sensor soundboard. Calm down, Idef. Focus. I'm sorry that has come to this, Aliyah, but this ends now. Ronan, get him. Can I ask why the fuck Ronan looks like Riza? Oh no. Oh no. Ivy feels whirlwind. Ronan takes... Okay, I'm not reading the fucking RPG script. You can fuck my... So, this is like reverse Pokemon, isn't it? Cosmic Horror! What did he...
If it wasn't for OBS on my second screen, I would have been fucking scared right now. What the? Hey, what are you doing? I think I broke it. Oh no, let me take a look. Why did you even touch the computer? I just wanted to see what was on it. Well, whatever you did, at least it seemed to be okay. It's... Oh no, my game! What's wrong? When you touched the computer, you saw a game running, right? Yeah, I played a little. I had it saved specifically at the moment to play it later, and now it's all gone. What do you mean it's all gone? So much preparation, so many hours spent grinding just to get there. I can't do all of that again. You wouldn't understand. Oh, I do. I fucking do. You do? Yeah, we used to have similar games where I come from. I see. Well, at least my office is still standing. Hey, it's not like I blow up your PC and your office accidentally. Speaking of which, what's with the bed? It looks like you live here. When I have to work late, it's just easier to stay here. Besides, I have the knowledge of the whole library at my fingertips and can use the resources and equipment as I please, like this computer. Don't you have one at home? No, we generally don't have this kind of technology in every household, though it's not exactly rare either. We just use it where we need it. Back home we used to have computers everywhere. Most of us even carried one in our wrist wherever we went. Oh god, people with smart watches annoy me for some reason. I think it's mostly because of my mom. Is that so? Oh, that means the library will be closing pretty soon. If you want to or ask anything in particular, now is the time. I want to learn more about the human myths of the Dragon World. There's a lot we could get into, but I'm afraid we won't have enough time now. Maybe another day. Anyway, thank you for your help. How about I invite you to my place for dinner sometime to repay you? Oh, that's not necessary. I enjoyed my time here. I insist. Alright then, I already have your number and you probably have mine as well. I do. Great, call me when it's convenient for you. I will. Good night, Ryder. Good night. Is it already evening? Wait, yeah, this is the second meetup. I wonder whether the dragon was being nice or just didn't want to feel in debt to me after I helped him. In any case, the time I spent in the library have been enjoyable and I was looking forward to seeing him again. Though I wondered about his insistence on inviting me into his home. Had I just been asked out by a dragon? I was going to find out soon enough. Chapter 3. Okay, yeah, it really is like that, isn't it? I have one big story event, 2 social events, and then the chapter ends. So I don't know how long this game will take, but Pat recommended me to do multiple playthroughs. I don't know if I will voice act them all though. The morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dreams. Memories of my home enclosed within the towering perimeter wall raced through my head. The peaceful landscape outside the apartment window stood in defiance to these old thoughts. Rolling hills and blue sky were familiar to me now, and the purity of the sight gave me hope. Raidra, please come with me. What's going on? You sound serious. The chief will explain everything once we arrive. Okay. Oh, I have to get back into the voices. Damn. I also completely forgot to post me being live again. Hey chief, Raidra is here. Thanks Sebastian, I can deal with the situation here. Well, I'll take to Raidra, alright? Of course. Raidra, we got some really bad news. Well, what is it? You know Anna, right? I've met her, yes. How about her assistant? Can't say I have. Well, that's him. Oh! Pat, that fucker already spoiled me minimalistically. If I didn't meet up with Anna, she would be that one. And here's more bad news. The blood we found on the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence found on the second victim at the power facility. Furthermore,
The murder weapon and method appear to be the same across all 3 victims, and what's going to be a big problem for you. Why is that? Because with these 3 murders, Reza now qualifies as a serial killer. We won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the ministry in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what will happen once they do. I'm not sure what to say about that. I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that actions will be taken soon. I've been considering this possibility for a while and think it might be the best if you went back to your own world for now. This way, we can take actions before the ministry does, and before this all becomes public. If we wait, we don't know what they do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here. No. No. This would be the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given up our PDAs and hardly have anything to show for it. We are owed several more generators, and let's not forget that Reza is still missing. If I leave now, the only thing I return home with is my life. I have lost everything else. We need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal or what they do to Reza, but I'm not leaving until this is over. If that's your decision, then so be it. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Radar. In addition to the murder, several things were stolen, among them your PDAs, batteries, and some components used to build generators. Okay, fucking it has to be Reza. Like, I'm not... At this point, it's not even that I don't like Reza. I don't like Reza, but that's not my reason to suspect him right now. But anything else seems like... Okay, the thing is... Okay, wait a minute. Let me have a calm mind about this. I think it is Reza, and I think mostly it is because of my bias, yes. Because I have read enough... I think the problem with me trying to predict all this shit is that I read enough stories where it can be anything else, so I want to have the hope that I can predict any shit. But right now, my go-to theory would be that it can be Reza. The evidence speaks for it to be Reza. He doesn't seem to like dragons. He's only interested in the generators. He has done something to piss off Merrick more than once, besides shooting him. But it is also not impossible for it to be an absolute bait and switch for someone to do all this shit and frame Reza for it. And the third option that I don't even want to consider because it sounds convoluted as shit might be that it is a third human. I know the restrictions said that the portal isn't open much and only in short intervals. But it is still possible that in the time between me and Reza being here, that at some point before or after we sent over the first generator, someone else used one of the portal intervals to go over here. But this, like I said, is a complete convoluted option that I'm only considering if option 1 and 2 seem to be improbable. And even then, option 2, meaning that Reza is framed, is either possible with or without option 3. So option 2, if option 2 should happen, if it turns out that Reza is framed, ja genau, Reza is framed, then it is possible that either some very skinny human dragon is responsible for that, or we have a third human over in the dragon world. Does that ring any bells? Not really. Reza might have some knowledge of electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators, even if he had the parts. Strange. Even so, it's fair to assume Reza's involvement at this point. No one else has greater motives to steal the PDAs, especially after what happened between him and Maverick. Unless someone wanted to frame Reza in order to sabotage us. I'm playing this blind, by the way! I'm playing this completely blind. Why is my own character thinking the exact same shit as me? And I know this isn't some convoluted reading my microphone AI bullshittery game. This game is too old for this shit. I don't even know when it came out. I think 2016? I don't know. But right now I find it mega sus that the game... Apparently I know the game too good or the game knows me too good. Point is, the whole self-insert character thing is... It goes somewhere. Do you really believe that? Hey, I'm just saying that it's possible. I'll shelve that idea under possible but unlikely. Hey Chief, what are we done here? Pretty much. What do you ask? We just got a message from the higher ups. You and Raidra are to report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately. Immediately? As in right now? Yes, apparently. What's going on? To be frank, I don't know. This is an extraordinary situation, and now that it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it. So, the worst possibility. If you expect the worst, at least you won't be disappointed. Sebastian, you can finish up here and go to the ministry when you've done. You'll probably have to make some arrangement after this meeting. Sure thing, Chief. Let's go then, shall we? It's not like we have a choice. That was Amara. I completely misvoiced her earlier. That was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer. Greetings, Minister. Greetings. Shall we go inside for official business? No, we got everything I need right here. It gets so stuffy inside on hot days. My assistant doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just stay right here unless you have any objections. I don't. I see. Well, now I know I haven't exactly been up to date on regards on Riza's sudden disappearance, but I get the message today that he is a confirmed serial killer. Was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious as to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long. Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction, the murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and blood we found, and these three murders now being linked together, and to him did your ministry have to become involved. I see. So Riza's involvement is now undeniable. I'm afraid so, Minister. Facts are nothing to be afraid of, though in light of all this, I'm starting to worry about your personal safety. With our thick heights, I don't think our species has much to fear if we consider the murder weapon. Speak for yourself. I don't think someone of my standing needs protection. Oh, for sure. If you are worried about your personal safety, we could look into an escort for you. Good. Considering all the murders took place during the night, are certainly needed. Long days are endemic in my line of work. But that's enough about myself. We now face the question, what should be done about Riza and Raidra? Minister, we continue our hunt for Riza every day. As a matter of fact, Raidra has been helping us do so for a while now. Is that so? One human a murderer, another a detective? Interesting. And how do we know Raidra isn't following a similar plan to Riza's, whatever that may be? Similar concerns were leveled by Riza's escort Merrick, and it was his overreaction that caused Riza to run away in the first place. Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Raidra, enlighten me. You and Riza came here on the same mission, and the situation has escalated beyond our expectations. What you tell me now will determine the actions I'll take on this matter. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Riza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived. I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me. Arguably, the problems that caused all this were apparent even then. How so? Merrick suspected Riza of planning something, but I didn't think he had a case. Well, did he? No, what he had was a suspicion. The night he followed Riza, he found both him and Raidra at the portal. The human intended to send one of their promised generators through, but there was a confrontation that ended with both Maverick and Raidra wounded, and Riza running away. Riza's been missing ever since. I've read the report already, Chief.
The question is, did Maverick cause this, or did he just fail to prevent it? I have no way of knowing that, Minister. You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back. What? You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then. Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during that encounter. Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place? Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made that decision, and Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard. Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it? You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have been remained Riza's escort, is that true? Yes, I had paid more attention to the warning signs. This situation may have been avoided. So you accept responsibility for the incident? Yes, Minister. I see. Now, let us go back to the topic of radar. Riza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities not only include murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs your people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help us with the investigation, but we have no other choice but to be suspicious of Riza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help? Oof, okay, it is my best it is my best bet. The thing is, I want to do option 2 or 3, but if I say 3, it sounds like I'm only doing this for some kind of greater plan, and that would put me in a big suspicion list. So what I'm gonna do is I take option 2. It is my best bet at finding the truth. I thought Riza's involvement was undeniably at this point. That may be true, but we still don't have the whole picture. We don't know if others are involved or his reasons. I just want to know why. I see. Well, after reading up on the whole situation and hearing both your accounts, I believe that Raid is trustworthy. Nevertheless, I think Raid represents a great risk. Why is that? After this meeting, I will hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. The people must know of the danger posed by Riza. No matter what Bryce and I think about your involvement, the public could feel different. You, me, and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. And what's more, Raidra, you might be in real danger yourself. Riza himself may come to silence you once he learns that you are helping us, or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement. All things considered, it would be for the best if you return to your own world until the situation has been resolved. Why do so many people want to send me back? I came to the very same conclusion, Minister. Then with your support, this is what shall be done. Please don't. You don't agree? If you send me back now, this diplomatic relationship is over. I'd have to admit defeat to humanity. There's no way I can return without your generators, or PDAs, or Riza. Maybe you could explain to them what the great choice of an ambassador Riza was. But I was his partner, so in a way, he is my responsibility. I can't just go back like this. I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh your reasons for sending you home. Just let me explain. I'll tell you everything. Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology was far more advanced than yours, even. Computers not only graced every household, but every single person. It was the age of information. Even children had the power to access the most advanced knowledge at their fingertips. With all PDAs, our interconnectedness with other people and our environment was greater than ever. From locomotion to repetitious work and household chores, many processes were automated to such a degree that except for our jobs and hobbies, there was nothing that needed to be done by a person anymore. Even the concept of someone wielding a weapon was outdated, as wars were no longer fought by people but machines. Looking back, it was probably the single most prosperous time in human history. Exploitation of the environment and other people was at an all-time low, as was crime. Conversely, our technological advancement had drastically increased quality of life. Humans were no longer required for strenuous and repetitive tasks, education had reached an all-time high, and many new jobs were created. General happiness had reached levels never before seen. Yet, one day, everything changed. A solar flare was A solar flare that was headed for Earth was detected by an automated monitoring system. It was determined to be so powerful that it dwarfed all other ever recorded in history. We had less than a week to prepare. Chaos hit much earlier than that, so people scrambled to shield themselves and their possessions from the incoming ion storm. On a worldwide level, power lines were switched off, satellites reorientated in space, and planes grounded to mitigate the effect that would hit us. Despite humanity's contingency plans for such an event and all our effort, we were still not prepared for the sheer magnitude of the solar flare that arrived. It was only then, when our race had become so dependent on technology, that we were immeasurably vulnerable against this kind of disaster. That day, a force with the power of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs was unleashed into our atmosphere. They don't know what a Hiroshima bomb is. The eyewitnesses' report from this day were varied as they were terrifying. A huge, beautiful aurora could be seen on the horizon before fireballs hurled across the sky. In some places, these lights became so bright that even those asleep at night awoke, as though they had already arrived. A coronal mass ejection by itself did not have the power to kill anyone directly, but the side effects were disastrous. After the lights in the sky arrived, sparks shouted from electrical outlets everywhere, igniting rampant fires in every town and city. Facilities that stored weapons, fireworks, or other explosives became centers of widespread destruction and loss of life. During the next stage, the solar flare started to affect body modifications and caused commonplace pacemakers and nanomachines to fail. 15% of the world population died as a result of this alone. Once the full power of the waves hit us, however, society as we knew it collapsed in one fell swoop. Power grids on Earth shut down in an instant, as did all the machines that automated our routine tasks. Long-distance communication and transport became a thing of the past. Without electrical power, the quality of healthcare plummeted. Water and sewage systems were crippled. Diseases we thought defeated centuries ago made their comeback in a most unsightly fashion. Many thought the end of the world had arrived, and in a way, it had. Some people blamed whoever their beliefs system would allow, angry at the gods that had forsaken them. Others pointed their fingers at our lifestyle and society, not that anyone was listening. Practically, we were back to the Middle Ages. Governments collapsed and were overthrown, and the ensuing power vacuum filled with groups of people that were sometimes organized and sometimes not. The few functioning electronic devices left became rare, sought after artifacts over which battles and even wars were fought. Of course, there were also wars over resources and territory. The weaponry used was improvised and reclaimed from the days when humans had been present on the battlefield. It had been ages, but people returned to the old bloody ways of war. Humanity is in shambles now. Those that I call family and friends now live with me in a giant, mostly self-sufficient city-state of survivors. A huge wall around the perimeter, guarded by militia, prevents any outside interference. It's the only way we can retain the modicum of order. Gangs of raiders and looters run rampant on the outside. They wouldn't hesitate to kill the first and ask questions later if they had known about my PDA. Our contained community has flourished for years now. We have homes to live in, crops to grow, and livestock to raise, and still have our own automated hospital that runs on salvage generators. Lately though, supplies have started to run low, and dangerously so. The power we have is running out. Illnesses are spreading through the city, and treatment isn't available as it used to be. Our population is dropping by the day. We took a great risk to increase the radius of our scouting missions, desperate to find something outside the world that could help us. You already know the rest of the story. We found the portal and you. And now, you know why this whole thing is so important to me.
All our hopes lie in acquiring the generators you promised us. The act of sending Risa and me here has without a doubt already cost the lives of some people back home. Beyond the city walls is a dead zone. We haven't heard from any other settlements for months now. The state of the rest of our world is unknown. When Risa and I were sent here, my peers made it clear that it was our last chance. If anything happens to us, no more people will be sent. If we can't manage to bring back something that will help, we'll have sealed the fate of tens of thousands that live in our city. I'm so sorry, Raidra. I didn't know. If what you are telling me is true, it unfortunately does not work in your favor. As sad as your situation may be, it gives Risa a motive. Desperate times call for desperate measures after all. In that vein, it also gives you a motive. Considering the gravity of the human plight, it gives you all the more reason to collaborate with him. I'm not. What Risa is doing is wrong. You can't send me away under these circumstances because I'm your best bet at finding him. Even so, you would still be in grave danger after we announce Risa's involvement in the murders. I cannot and will not take responsibility for the consequences when I know of the risks. What about our deal then? In the wake of this new information and as a sign of goodwill, we will send the generators you are owed through the portal once this is over under 2 conditions. Humanity must condemn Risa's actions and we must reclaim the stolen PDAs. I've changed my mind. You should let Raidra stay here. I cannot take your word under consideration in this matter, Chief. Taking into account Maverick's actions and your responsibility for them, you will have to be dealt with separately. With my authority as the minister in charge of the human visit, my decision is to have Raidra sent back to the human world through the portal. Please. Immediately. Chief, please arrange for an escort to take Raidra to the portal now. I could do it myself, Minister. Well, we have our own matters to discuss, Chief, and I would rather get that over with as quickly as possible. In that case, one of my officers should be here any moment. I arranged for him to meet us here. How handy. Then let us wait for this officer of yours. It didn't take long for Sebastian to arrive. After the situation had explained, he was visibly shocked, but didn't protest when he was given the task of sending me back through the portal. Let's go, Raidra. Don't I even get to say goodbye? Let's not waste any more time. You will still be free to send letters after you have arrived on the other side. Just go, Raidra. Come on then. Why does it seem like a bad ending? Either that or we're doing bait. I'm so ready for bait and switches like nothing else. We were silent as Sebastian and I slowly made our way to the portal. With each step I took, I drew closer and closer to the hopelessness waiting for me in the ruins of the human world. All in all, I certainly had a unique experience alongside these dragons, and although this place was filled with just as much drama and murder as back home, I would remember this world and all the people I met. I would fondly think back to the days I spent in the comfortable standard of living a shadow of how humanity used to be. Even without the generators, at the very least I'd be returning home with a few life lessons. What's going on here? Lost in thought, I haven't even noticed Adine approach. It's none of your concern. Please leave. Can't I even get a few minutes before I go? I suppose. Nobody's stopping us, but make it quick. The human unofficial business, huh? I don't even know if you know you right now, do I? I don't even know you right now, do I? Don't you remember? I met you in the cafe and at the crime scene. But that's all, isn't it? Unless I missed something, yeah. What are you doing here? I was just practicing my flying when I spotted you down here, and you would say no to an opportunity to meet one of the humans, not me. I'm afraid this will be both our first and last opportunity to talk. I'm about to leave this world again. Is that so? That's too bad. Kind of a shame, I never got to know you. Wait, does that have something to do with those rumors I heard? Is Risa really a murderer? I'm afraid so. What does that make you? I don't have anything to do with that. I was helping the police finding him. Then why are you leaving? It's for my own safety, apparently. This wasn't my decision.
Really? But what about Riza?
All I could offer was a shrug. I guess they're convinced that they can find him on their own.
I see. I'm not sure what to think of anymore.
I'm not sure either. I looked over my shoulder and glanced at Sebastian. I should be going now.
Alright, goodbye, Raidra.
Goodbye, Nadine. I remember her. She was the witness from Riza's first murder. Did you know her? Little. I see. A few minutes later, we arrived at the portal, standing proud as ever in the defiance of the elements. How many years had this structure survived before it was found? I hope I can remember how this thing works. Are you joking? Yeah, sorry, I got it. Alright, I suppose it's time for us to say goodbye. Let's keep it professional. I don't like to mix personal matters with work. He looked away and I shrugged. Go ahead and turn it on then. Would you stand between the pillars, please? Of course. I took my place and stared towards the horizon where I thought about what would happen now, in this world and others. Even if I made a break for it, I'd become a fugitive, no better than Riza. It would be near impossible to investigate the case by myself, while on the run in a world I knew so little about. At the very least, I took comfort in the fact that I did everything I could to help, even if it turned out like this. Nevertheless, I dreaded going back empty-handed and returning to my old life in our ruined city. Any second now, the teleportation process would start, disintegrating my body before I would reappear on the other side, back in my dying world. I wondered if there was any risk of getting lost somewhere between worlds. We didn't really know how the portals worked after all. Maybe I would be flung somewhere else in space-time, or it might affect my body in some way. I hadn't noticed any unusual changes in my body since I arrived on the Dragon's World, but I had no way of knowing if there were potential long-term side effects. I still remembered the image I saw when I teleported the first time. There were its sights and patterns, people and situations I have recognized since then. It only took a moment to arrive at the other side of the portal, yet it felt like I'd dreamed 1,000 dreams. And during the nights I spent here, these dreams had often reappeared. Any time now, I would undergo the same experience again. I was almost relieved that my adventure was over. Things had turned out far differently than expected. I evaded danger, got swept into a murder investigation, and met incredible, intelligent beings from several different species. I had certainly been a time to remember. With that thought, I closed my eyes and braced myself for the moment that would come any second now. But that moment never came. Next thing that did happen was that I heard Sebastian's voice. It's not working. Are you joking again? No, really, it's not working. Wait, what is this? Oh no! Oh hell no! It's broken. Can you fix it? I don't think so. This doesn't look like a simple act of vandalism. It looked like some parts were torn out. I guess that means I'm not leaving, huh? Not yet, at least. Well, what do we do? Let's head back. The chief has to know about this right away. We were back at the ministry before long, and Mara and Bryce were still outside as Remy approached the two of them. Hear the case, Father Mara. Why, thank you. Rydra, and an officer, what's this about, Amara? That is what I would like to know. Please, officer, enlighten me. Why has my order not been carried out? The portal is broken. It's broken. Yeah, it looks like someone tampered with it and stole parts. It couldn't even get the interface to turn on. We'll check on it once I'm done here. I suppose Ryder will stay with us for a little longer after all. Seeing how this is an emergency situation, I will make this short. Chief, as a result of your carelessness regarding Maverick and Riza, you are temporarily removed from any duty related to the humans. Given the dangerous times, you will instead serve as my personal escort until further notice. Considering the circumstances, you will be allowed to coordinate the investigation of the portal, but after that, you are to immediately return to me to start your new task, understood? Understood. Then all of you are dismissed. She turned to leave, Remy trailing after her. Alright, let's head to the portal that includes you, Radra. Of course. Out of the corner of my eye I spotted a sheet of paper on the ground. Hey, what's this? Amara probably dropped it in one of her case files. Either her or her assistant. You better bring that to her, Sebastian. I should hurry to the portal. Meet us there afterwards. Sure. I picked up the sheet and started reading it. It was about what happened when I met Riza at the portal. Of course, it didn't say anything I didn't already know. As I walked up the stairs, I wondered if it was okay for an unauthorized person to enter the building. All I knew about the place was that Amara worked here. I did have an important document that was going to be missed, so I walked inside only to be greeted by an empty lobby. Luckily, there were some signs directing me to Amara's office. It didn't take long to find it, and I heard voices when I approached the door. By the way, what happened to the scroll you brought me this morning? The last time I saw it, it did not have that tier. I dropped it. Tell me something new for once. Okay, someone else dropped it. Am I supposed to believe that? Remy, are you aware of how much this costs? Repairing and replacing artifacts is not cheap. I'm afraid that we'll have to deduct this from your wage again. I see. You are not doing this on purpose, are you? Of course not. You have been working for me for a long time now. I expected you to learn at some point, but you are very resistant to do so. Not wanting to listen to this any longer, I decided to knock. There were a few seconds of silence. Please come in. I only opened the door long enough to hand Remy the sheet of paper. I think you dropped this outside. After I closed the door and started to walk away, I heard the voices resume. This is from one of the case files you requested. I must have dropped it. Then why was it left outside? As my assistant, you should have paid more attention. If this got into the wrong hands, someone could get in trouble. I made my way back to the portal and arrived shortly after Bryce and Sebastian. Well, I can confirm that it's not turning on. I told you that already. I just wanted to be sure. You really think it would still work with a chunk ripped out of it? Hey, I'm not an engineer. You don't know how the portal works. It was worth another try. There you go, Radra. What do you make of this? I'm afraid I don't know any more than you do. I'm not an engineer either. In that case, we should start thinking about the who and when. There are patrols assigned to the portal and surrounding area day and night. If someone Oh no! If someone tampered with the portal, they must have seen something. Today's the day patrol didn't notice anything unusual though. Okay, that means there are two possibilities. Riza ripped out stuff. Okay, wait. I need to drink first. The two most possible suspects are Riza and Maverick. But I think it's Maverick. Hear me out. Riza would destroy his only reason to be here with a destroyed portal. He can't go back without the generators, and with a destroyed portal, he can't go back at all. Unless he knows how to repair it, and I don't believe that. Also, he can't want to stay in the Dragon World because now he is a wanted fugitive. No matter the fact if he knows it or not, he should know it because he is wanted for hurting Maverick after all. So I don't think it is Riza, he is just a possibility. Here is the reason why I strongly think it's Maverick. And it's one simple but effective reason for that matter. He doesn't want us, so me and Riza, to go back into our world. He wants to make sure that we stay here, we get captured, and we get dealt with. At least Riza, I don't know how Maverick thinks about me yet, but he doesn't like me because I'm a human, so can't blame him for that. I guess we just missed the part about the portal being vandalized. It'd be easy to overlook. It's a small part of the machine, and it's not like she was expected to check every square inch of it with each lab around the area. What about the night patrol then? When I went over to the reports this morning, I noticed the night patrol hadn't handed theirs in yet. And who was patrolling last night? Let me think for a minute. The schedule always goes in certain order, so last night would have been... Drum roll for the name Maverick. Damn. What is it? The night patrol for last night would have been Maverick. I got wrapped up in all the recent chaos and forgot to find a replacement for him when he went in sick leave. Maybe Amara was right to take me off the case. So there was no night guarder here after all. That's right. Whoever it was had an easy time doing whatever they wanted. Could it have been Maverick? If he knew no one was going to be here, he could have used the knowledge to his advantage. He couldn't have known that I'd forgot to find a replacement though. I don't usually slip up like this. What about Reza? Why would he have done it? He'd be cutting off his only way out. No, he'd be doing something smart. If he has the parts needed to get the portal working again, he's in control of who gets to use it. He's cutting off our ability to communicate with mankind. We wouldn't be able to inform them of Reza's actions. Maybe we shouldn't have kept the investigation secret for this long. If your theory is true, that would prove that Reza's actions are his own, not humanity's. And they also gave me a new perspective on why Reza could have done it, so... yeah. Good that I still suspected him. Hey, I already trust you on that. Or is that a stunt to grant humanity plausible deniability? No way. Things are too dire for the humans to take such an extraordinary risk, especially for that. I'm sure that wouldn't be the only reason they'd benefit though. They must be something we're not aware of. Maybe we're looking at this from the wrong angle. If no one was here to guard the portal, anyone could have broken it. It doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with Reza or Maverick. But they still have the greatest motive. Sure, but they definitely aren't the only ones to have one. There could be private groups who are interested in the technology or the significance as a human artifact. So that puts us exactly nowhere. At least as far as speculations is concerned, it's about time for forensics to show up anyway. Let's hope they can pull some clues of all this. Sorry, doing something on my phone right now. Sebastian, can you take it from here? You've been just as dedicated to that case as I have. Since all I have to be as the minister's side for a while, I'd like you to take charge of the investigation for now. Thanks, Chief. I won't let you down. What's up with that anyway? Being appointed as Amara's bodyguard as punishment just seems strange to me. Are you kidding? I could have lost my job. This is a way better outcome. Honestly, she probably did it for her own sake more than anything else, but I'm not complaining. If that's all, I'm going to head back to the ministry. You shouldn't keep her waiting. So what does that make you now? Temporary chief? More like case leader. By the way, you won't need to stick around while forensics does their job. Thanks for your help. I assume you can find your way back to your apartment? Yeah, of course. Alright, see you later then. See you. I considered spending my free time roaming the town, but decided it would be best to keep myself out of the spotlight. After cooking myself a rudimentary meal, I considered picking up another book when the doorbell rang. Hey Raidera. Hey Sebastian, do you need help again? Yeah, we're just a small town police department, and by Bryce removed from the case, our resources are thinner than ever. I understand. So what do you have for me? First up is the primary witness in the latest murder, the victim's colleague Anna. She was the one who found his body. A few things have changed since this morning, as we gotten some additional information from forensics that warranted further questioning. She can be found in the production facility. You seemed interested in that underground building found near the portal. I realized you might actually be able to help us with that, since it's suspected to be of human origin. Your opinion would be greatly appreciated. I guess I should add archaeologist to my resume. Maybe human matters consultant would be more appropriate. Do you really think it's okay for me to tamper with your priceless discoveries? Oh, you wouldn't actually go there in person. I just want you to take a look at the collected information in the archives and give us your opinion. Besides, no one is allowed to visit at the moment. The building is old and unstable, and there's a danger of collapsing or flooding. Obviously, we don't want either of those happen. Flooding? Yes, the whole building is underground, and we've determined that there's a rather large pocket of water surrounding it. Any kind of disturbance could endanger everything and everyone inside. I see. We've also located witnesses of the latest murders. A store clerk reported seeing and hearing something, so it's probably worth it to ask him a few questions. Got it. Here are all the details. Visit me at the department once you're done. Sure thing. It was interesting that they still relied on me for their investigations, even after they tried to send me back to my world. I didn't expect them to allow me to help with police matters after everything that happened. Now that the possibility of sending me back was eliminated, the advantages of having me on their side apparently outweighs the risk. Though I had to wonder, who would have to be more careful from now on? What should I do? I think I'm gonna go to the archives first. I want the information from that. I was on my way to the police station when a voice called out to me. Hey you! I'm talking to you, human. Oh, ältere Stimme, okay. This is some old dragon. Can I help you? I certainly hope so. I'm in a little conundrum here. My card seems to be stuck. I can see that. I'm Katsuhura, by the way, local ice cream vendor. Raidra, you've probably heard of me by now. Of course, of course. In any case, do you think you can spare some time to help me out? It might take a while though, so I hope you're not in a rush. Helfer Complex be damned! Thank you. Now, I already tried pulling it out, but I think the axle is going to break if I try to do that again. It wasn't really in the best condition to begin with, honestly, and I heard a crack when I tried to pull it out earlier. So what do you want me to do? The cart is pretty heavy, so I'll be the one lifting it and holding the wheel steady so the axle doesn't break. Once I gave you the sign, you start pulling and hopefully that'll do the trick. Alright. Here, grab the handle and wait for my signal. By the time I have gotten into position, Katsuharu was already on the side of the cart, getting dirty as he slowly lifted the affected corner of the cart out of the muddy hole. Is that your sign? Should I start pulling now? Do it! Do it now! I started pulling by the cart, but the cart turned to be much heavier than I expected and didn't move. What are you waiting for? Do it already! I pulled harder, but the cart still refused to budge. I mustered all my strength before I pulled as hard as I possibly could. Yes! Do it! Slowly the cart started moving, and after a few seconds it was freed from the perilous clutches of the muddy puddle. With a dull thud, the dragon set the cart down again before he flopped on the ground exhausted. Hey, we did it! Yeah, good job. Do you want me to call you some help? No, just need some rest. And maybe some ice cream. Yes, I'll have some ice cream and I'll better do it in no time. That must be some pretty good ice cream. Oh, you have no idea. You must have already heard people talking about my wonderful, unique ice cream experience. Actually, not really. Where are my manners? I haven't even properly thanked you yet. It's no problem. No, I insist. I won't be in debt to you for helping me. What are you planning? You are hereby invited to join me for ice cream. As an ambassador, you owe it yourself and humanity to try it. Maybe I do. Well, I must get going now. Here's my number. I'll get you that ice cream some other time. Thanks. You helped Katsuharu. Oh! Before deciding my next move, I returned to my apartment for a moment to rest. A small piece of paper had been slipped under the door while I was gone. Don't go to the portal was all it said. I considered the possibility of a hidden message, but that was unlikely. The statement was blunt and quickly scrawled. Someone clearly didn't want me to go to the portal, but why would I go there in the first place? As it was out of order right now, such an action would serve no purpose. I looked outside the window at the portal, faint silhouette in the distance. The paper rustled between my fingers as I fidgeted with it, wondering about the message's sender and significance. My train of thought was violently interrupted by a sharp burst of gunfire echoing from the... echoing from the... I had to think fast. The gunshot ensured Rita's involvement. He was at the portal. The question was, why? If that was his attempt to flee back to the human world, he would have received a rather unpleasant surprise the moment he would try to use the portal. Or maybe Sebastian's theory was correct and Rita held parts needed to repair the portal, in which case his escape could be imminent. The gunshots themselves were another question. Was someone trying to stop him? The police patrol may have seen him, and he may have been taken by surprise. This could be another murder in progress. But all of his murders were committed with a sharp weapon before now, not a gun. He didn't want to be hurt. Also, he must have limited ammo since they don't have guns in the Dragon World. Besides, it was only early evening and the town was still bustling. If Rita wanted to stay hidden, he was doing a rather poor job at it. Of course, there was still also the possibility that he wanted to be hurt, but he would want to attract the police? Maverick? It could easily be a trap for those hunting him, and technically including me, though I wasn't sure if he knew I was involved in the investigation. It was also very real possible that he knew my apartment was close enough to the portal to hear a gunshot. Could be a signal for me? Regardless, the words I held in my hand were unmistakably, "Don't go to the portal." What should I do? I want to go to the portal and call the police. I call the fucking police. I call the fucking police. Ultimately, I trusted the mysterious measures. Remy's list of phone numbers given to me when he brought me to this apartment in the first place proved to be a valuable tool. I dialed the emergency line and was greeted by a calm voice asking me about my emergency. The gravity of the situation was understood and I was advised to stay inside until further notice. A team was dispatched to deal with the situation while I waited. From my window, I tried to catch a glimpse of what was going on to the portal, but I couldn't see much. The dark of night was fast approaching. About an hour later, I was informed the team had searched the perimeter, though no trace of Risa was found. I was given the go-ahead to continue with my investigation, but I was free to stay where I was if I felt unsafe. I've got some more time left. What should I do? I wasted now my time helping Kazuharu, but I think the most important thing would now go talk with Anna, taking a witness report and all that shit. Hey, Raidra. Lauren, right? Yep. Did you get a chance to think about what I told you last time? Don't worry, I didn't lose your number. They kept me pretty busy, so I don't really have much free time. Well, if anything changes, give me a call. I will. I gotta go now, so take care. You too. This should be the right place. Oh, it's you. I'm a little busy, so I'm not sure if I should take any visitors at the moment. I have a few questions about the murder of your colleague. Is that so? Why you do get to go around asking questions like that? Is it a matter of human interest? Actually, yes. Would you say so? You could say so. Interesting. What's in it for me? Hey, I already agreed to your test. I'm not sure what else I could offer you. Besides, I'm working with the police, so your cooperation would be greatly appreciated. Oh, you're working for the police. Now you really have my attention. I want to see where you're going with this, so by all means, go ahead. Telling you what's happening, I found him. I might have left early yesterday, but I made up for it by coming in early today, before anyone else. That's why I was the one who found him. I was on my way to my office when I saw him lying in the middle of the hallway, in a puddle of his own blood. But what happened the last time you saw him alive? I saw him yesterday evening. There were some tests I needed to run overnight, so instead of staying late to set them up, I had Damien do it. That's what colleagues are for, right? You seem very calm for someone whose colleague was just murdered. People die every day, it's a simple fact of life. Besides, I don't see you crying about him either. I didn't know him that well, so it's not like someone I actually cared about died. The world stopped spinning for no life. Life goes on, and for me, that means being without an assistant for a while. What was your relationship to him? We were colleagues, nothing more. I heard that you didn't particularly like him. Yeah, but that's not unusual. I don't like most people. He really didn't like me though. Why is that? He was jealous of my success and it showed. Okay, that's all. That would be all. Thank you, Anna. My pleasure. Time to head back. I think I got like no information out of it besides besides she worked late yesterday so she took so she had a lot of time. Wait, it has to be late evening, early morning, so midnight around because she got early in the next morning. It's getting late. I better head to the police station now. Do I have everything? Alright, let's see what Sebastian will say to this. There you are, Radra. It seems to me you've taken a liking to Bryce's chair. Maybe I could get used to this. Don't tell Bryce though. By the way, good job calling the police when you heard Reza. It's too bad he got away again. But maybe a witness will come forward and we'll find out what happened. Now let's take a look at what you've got for me. The witness report from Anna is good. Nothing new to us, but it's nice to have her statement in writing. Not bad, Ray. Not bad at all. Thank you for your help. I do what I can. I know, and your help is greatly appreciated, believe me. Especially since we're still short on staff right now. That will be all for today. I'll contact you if we need anything. Of course. See you next time. See ya. I think this time I didn't do good on the investigation. I blame it on Kazuharu, but I also blame it on me trying to help everyone. Finally, a free day. What should I do? Looks like there are some messages on the answering machine. Let's see. Hello, this is Remy speaking. I'm calling in regards to the dinner we talked about. I have an opening soon and was wondering if you had also had the time. Let me know if you're interested. Have a good day. I guess that's my official invitation. Now the question is if I want to go out or not. You know what? I'll be a nice person. I don't want Remy to wait out on me. Wait out on me. It's not nice. Remy, I owe it to Remy. Oh, Remy owes it to me. Either way, after that we're quit. And oh my god, he has a really nice house. Thank you again for helping me the other day. Without you, I would have been trapped sorting books for a few more hours. Inviting you over for dinner is the least I can do. Potato! It's no problem, really. It's no problem, really. Besides, I'm also here to learn more about your kind. Spending some time in the library is only appropriate. Well, my gratitude is yours regardless. Anyway, is there anything in particular you would like to eat? And if I want to, I would... Why? How about steak? Oh, you're in luck. I do have a few steaks we could dine upon. This might take a while, so make yourself at home. With those words, Remy walked into the partially walked-off kitchen. There was no door, so I saw him open the fridge and take out the 2 steaks before he sets them on the counter. Soon after, I was already preparing the various ingredients with his somewhat clumsy Pause. He was silent for a moment, then lifted his snout and looked at me from over the partition. What is it? I was just thinking about something. I could help cook if you like. Don't worry about it. Alright. I looked around the apartment as Remy cooked and couldn't help but notice the almost mesmerizing tidiness that permeated the place. Shelves were filled with books, scrolls, magazines, and other various trinkets. Suddenly, the repetitious noise of vegetables being cut ceased as Remy returned from the adjoining room. I'll be back in just a minute. He went down the hall and vanished through the bathroom door. What should I do? Examine the shelf, go into the bathroom, look at the pic. Escape while second. That's not nice. Look at the pictures. I picked up one of the framed photos to examine it more closely. It was a red dragon. I guessed that it was a female or of young adult or college age. though I wasn't sure as I was still hard to tell without looking at the obvious signs. Her crimson scale head was adorned with frills that ran down the back of her neck. She wasn't familiar to me. I moved over to the shelves and idly looked through the books and scrolls. Nothing particularly interesting caught my eye. From the titles alone, it seems all genres were more or less represented. Fiction and non-fiction alike. The scrolls were neatly sorted and whole, though I couldn't make out the logical consistency behind the arrangements. Anatomy, huh? Let's check that out. Oof, I can't see. I'm not quite sure what I expected. Yeah. I don't like any of. We already looked at the pictures, so I'm just think I'm gonna wait this one out. Cause I'm not going into his bedroom. I don't. It's not like I don't like him, but I don't want to sleep with him. You dig me? I decided to pass the time by humming the theme of our game show. Looks like Remy still isn't back. The bathroom door opened and revealed the right ring. As he approached, I felt my stomach rumble quietly. I barely heard the muffled sound, but when I saw Remy's ears perk, I realized he had more sensitive ears than I expected. Hungry already? I take it. I suppose so. Although your stomach already answered that question for you. After entering the kitchen once more, I saw the dragon looked over the kitchen partition again. His mouth opened a little as though they were going to speak, but his brow scrunched with hesitation. Before I could say anything, he shook his head and continued to cook. Soon I heard the sizzling of frying meat as the delicious smell of steak wafted into the room. Fueled by its fragrant odor, I slowly lost myself to daydreams as I closed my eyes. Is something wrong? Are you salivating? It's nothing. I was just thinking about something. Well, the food is ready. Enjoy. I looked down and saw that the plate was already in front of me, piled with steak and vegetables. Remy has already eaten, so I took the knife he had provided and cut off a small corner of my steak. Then I pierced it with the fork, its three prongs penetrating the flesh unrelentingly. Slowly I raised it to my mouth, and my tongue glided over the bare substance briefly as it enters my lips. Why do you have to explain to me how food works? Don't make me hungry. I took the first bite, a delicately crisp exterior with a much softer and juicy inside. It melted on my tongue like butter as the taste spread to even the remotest corner of my mouth. It was almost perfect. So what were you thinking about? Huh? Remy's words snapped me back to reality. You said you were thinking about something. Do you live here by yourself? I do. Honestly, you are the first person to visit in a while. He spoke softly and his gaze wandered. Oh, I see. Thank you again for inviting me. I met a Mara recently. You met my boss? She was hanging around Tatsu Park. She certainly does that a lot. Let me give you one piece of advice. Don't ever work for a politician. I just presume he used the stove to cook because he can't breathe fire. I don't think any dragon can breathe fire. Because if there are different species of dragon, like flying ones, bulkier ones, four-legged ones, there are also some that can't breathe fire. Look at me, I can breathe lightning. I looked at some of your scrolls. Which ones? The ones on anatomy. Well, I do have a variety of books and scrolls covering all kinds of different subjects. I saw as much. You may have heard that I have a degree in biology, which is one of the reasons I was given the honor of coming here in the first place. As such, your anatomy is of high interest to me and one of the things I'm supposed to study. My anatomy? I was talking about your kind in general, not you in particular. Oh, in that case, I might be able to find you something more comprehensive than a handful of scrolls. I would greatly appreciate it, thank you. Let's ask him.
Why did you use a stove? I mean, can't you just use your fire? Well, for one, not all of us have that ability. Besides, we still appreciate the convenience that comes with appliances. Like this one, and not everyone wants to eat food cooked with someone else's breath. Breathing fire indoors is also a little bit unsafe. I see, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think do I want to talk with Remy? Oh, I have. Let's. Oh, what a terrible thing. People can be so cruel sometimes. They can be. Where I come from, incidents like this are unfortunately fairly common. Truly? Here it's almost unheard of. One just needs to take a look at the statistics to realize that this is very unusual, or just an exceptionally bad week. Anyway, how do you like the food? I will marry her. It's delicious. Thank you. I suppose you learn to cook well when you live on your own long enough. No, you don't. By the way, I noticed that you went to see Anna the other day. What was that all about? How do you know about that? I saw you two together a little before you left the building. That's kind of a long story. Why were you at the facility in the first place? She said I could come by. Apparently she wants to run some tests on me. Ah, that's so typical of her. Let me tell you something. That woman is trouble. Big trouble. A few years ago, she was discovered performing unapproved and therefore illegal experiments. She had been running from them from a while on the assumption that she would be allowed to, but in the end, our council's ethics committee made the decision against her. Anna's defense was that she did it for the greater good, and that she was confident that her experiments would be approved eventually. She lambasted us for not allowing her to her research and said our decision was short-sighted and stifling innovation. In the end, no proof of any actual wrongdoing could be found, so she barely got off scot-free. Since then, she remained under the radar. Until now, there are rumors going around about Anna. Surprise, surprise, her latest application involves human DNA. Her casual disregards for rules in any kind should tell you what kind of person she is. She does have a brilliant mind, by the way she uses it. She's manipulative, arrogant, abusive. I don't think you should trust her. Maybe she isn't as bad as you say. You don't know her, nor should you bother getting to know her. How much do you really know about Anna? Is it your job to go knocking on people's doors just because you heard some rumors? I was just trying to help. Really? It sounded like all you did was harass her, without proof of any actual wrongdoings. This isn't a particularly good idea. Oh god, now I'm sounding like an asshole. I didn't want it to go that far. Well, if that's what you think, then I just hope you at least be careful around her. Soon both of her plates were picked clean. I guess I judged your portion correctly, unless you want more. I'm good, thanks. That was an interesting steak. What kind of meat was it? Those were aurochs steaks? Are you familiar with that animal? I may have heard of aurochsen before. Aurochsen. Oh, most likely oxen, like oxes. They are rather large, bovine mammals characterized by their horns and body shape. You get a range of products from them, from meat and milk to subproducts like butter and cheese. And in addition to leather, felt, oils, and creams, we even use their horns and bones for a variety of things. That sounds similar to an animal we have back at home. Speaking of unfamiliar creatures, why don't you tell me more about your species? Are you referring to me or all of us? Our society is comprised of a number of different species, which you have probably noticed by now. I guess all of you. Let's start with the basics. I'm sure you're aware, but unlike the mammalian Aurochs, we are reptiles. Though this makes me wonder about you. Based on your fur, I guess that you're a mammal, but you're very different from other mammals we know. In the same vein, you don't share many characteristics with our reptiles back home. And by the way, we don't have fur but hair. What's the difference? Fur has a set length. It will grow, whereas hair will keep growing, so we regularly cut it. Is that so? Interesting. I was wondering something. Are you wearing all those coverings to make up for a lack of hair?
I suppose it's one of the reasons why humans wear clothes. They also provide warmth and protection, and are used to differentiate us from one another. Sometimes uniforms are used as identifications. Other times clothes are just ornamental. But a person wears can tell us something about the person itself. That sounds complicated. We also have uniforms and wear some things for our mental reasons, though our uses aren't quite as extensive. What brings up an interesting question. Are you endo or exothermic? We produce our own body heat. That's unusual. Where I come from, all reptiles are exothermic, unless you count birds as reptiles, I guess. But none of your reptiles are sentient, correct? Maybe it has something to do with our different brain structure. Maybe. Now that you've been in our way for a while, how do you like it here? I like the people. That's good to hear. Cultural differences can make things very difficult sometimes, even within the same species. I'm glad things are working out for you so far. Oh, I just remembered I was able to save my game after all. Your interference was only a minor setback. Glad to hear it. I was crying relief when I found out. You know, if it hadn't worked out so well, I would have had to consider making you play up to that point again for me. I wouldn't mind playing some of your video games. Is that so? Yeah, they're fun. I'd like to see what kind of games you have here. I kept that in mind. Perhaps I can show you sometime. You know, I'm glad you're here. Since you arrived in our world, we haven't really had the chance to sit down to talk. Then I wanted to chat. It's not as if I was desperate or anything. I just think it's nice. You do have a point, though. I don't really know that much about you. I know where you work, but most of our conversations far revolved around things other than you and me. Why don't you tell me more about yourself? I don't really like talking about myself. Why not? I guess I wouldn't know what to say. I'm not really that interesting. I don't believe you. There's also the uncertainty of not knowing how another person will react to something I say. I don't want to embarrass myself. Hey, at least you told me that. That's something, I suppose. Anyway, now that you've seen my apartment, I'm wondering what your home on the other side of the portal looks like. It's nothing special. Yours is prettier. Actually, everything here looks nice in comparison to back home. Is that so? In some ways. I'm not really looking forward to returning, but it's not like I have a choice in that matter. I suppose you could always visit if you wanted to. It wouldn't be that easy, I'm afraid. There was an extensive process involved for selecting who would go through the portal, and I was only one of the many applicants. I'm so surprised that I ended up being chosen. At least you're here now. Indeed. So, what have you been up to since the last time I saw you? You mean since I went into the kitchen to cook steak? Very funny. I'm just messing with you, Radar. With all the talking, I totally forgot about dessert. I'm up for some dessert. Then I have just the right thing for you. It'll be just a minute. He neatly stacked our dishes before he tucked them into one of his forepaws and went back to the kitchen using the other 3 limbs. I couldn't help but think that this looked pretty awkward. When he returned balancing a plate with a rather attractive cake slice in a similar manner, I realized he wouldn't have to make multiple trips to carry everything on the table. Do you need some help? Do you need help with anything? Don't worry about it, I can handle it. We're my guests after all. Once he placed the first cake slice on the table, he went back to fetch the other. When he approached the table a second time, one of the tiny dessert forks started to slip off the plate. Remy reached with his free forepaw in his attempt to save it, but lost balance without a spot and fell over. In an instant, the plate, the fork, the cake slice flew through the air. The dish and the silverware clattered as the pristine cake crumbled into a sad heap on the floor. No. Hey, der Kuchen ist doch gerettet. For a few moments there was silence as Remy and I looked at the results of his blunder. I'm sorry, Radar.
I don't need to apologize. It isn't just about you or your cake, it's always happened to me no matter how hard I try. You have proper hands, so do some of the other species. How can someone like me even be a librarian? Not a day goes by without me dropping a scroll or unfurling it across the room. But the customers don't care or pity me too much to say anything. It's a common sight of them after all. Is this about a mirror, isn't it? I guess it is. I just don't see why someone like me got the librarian when there were others more qualified for the position. Or who were at least capable of not dropping the inventory on a daily basis. She makes fun of you for it. I knew it. I mean, why else would she have me to do these tasks all the time? Sorting books, carrying things from one place to another. I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't work somewhere where my worth is only in the entertainment I provide. Why don't you look for a new job? These positions have terms similar to those of ministers. If I ended my employment prematurely, I wouldn't look great. How long do you have left? A while. But not really. It's not like I could prove anything. Her public and her private demeanor are two different things, and it would be more my word against hers. I just wanted to have a nice evening with you, and now it ended up like this. I shouldn't have brought it up. Don't worry about it. I still think it was a nice evening. Maybe I should stop being such a sourpuss then. I can help you clean up. Thank you, Radra. We cleaned up together, and by the end, he seemed to be in a higher spirit. Afterwards, we said our goodbyes and I left, not sure what to think. Oh, where a fucking sleep schedule. Looks like I still have some free time. Already ran with Remy. I could meet up with Anna. I could meet up with Lauren. I don't think I should visit Bryce right now. Ask some lunch. With Katsuharu, get some well-deserved rest. You know what? I'm gonna meet up with Anna again. Even though Remy just told me to not to, but I don't know if I'm just masochistic, if she really did abuse that Remy thinks, or if I just have problems with my types. But I also want to see where her experiment goes. I gave her my blood, so I have a right to know. There you are. I was wondering if you even showed up. I'm an honorable person. Good for you, and for me as it turns out. Follow me, please. Oh, when I said I was ready for the experiments, I didn't know it goes that far. So, what exactly is this room? It's a testing room for research in live subjects. And what activity do we test here? You'll see that soon enough. I intend to use this facility to its fullest potential. I see. Let's start with this one. What's that? I can get a good look at your bone structure, muscle groups, and organs with this. For the finer details, we'll need a different machine. Would you please lie down there? Of course. Before we start, can I ask you about your qualifications? You can trust me, I'm a doctor. Yeah, but if you have a doctor in mathematics, it doesn't mean you're a surgeon. What kind of doctor? Well, Doctor of Pharmacy is the only title I currently hold, but I know how to operate this machinery. That doesn't exactly inspire confidence. You think I'd let an opportunity like this go to waste by not doing my research? I'll have you know that I'm very qualified to perform these tests, if you say so. Now, please try not to move too much while this is running. And how long will it take? Good question. I suppose we'll see soon enough. And what do we do now? Just wait until it's over? What do you want me to do? Dance for you so you don't get bored? Just forget I said anything. I will. You know, when I heard that something happened at the facility, I thought it might have been you. It's quite something, isn't it? You know, if I stayed as late as I used to, it might have been me instead of Damien. And it's only because you told me to not stay late so often that it wasn't there that night. Still, somebody died. I'm not crying over that bastard. Alright, you can move again. Does that mean I'm done? That's a good one. We're just getting started. What about the results? Don't hold your breath. It'll be processing for some time and the resulting data will be so vast that it'll probably end up studying it for days. Let's collect some samples now. Where should I start? Where you like. Show me your claws. That would be fingernails in my case. I suppose you're right. It would be insulting to call those thin little things of yours claws. You'd probably break off before you could make use of them in any practical way. Just one more way nature gave us the short end of the stick. So which part would be fine for me to cut? Oh! Take a piece from the white part. The rest you see is attached to the finger. Hold still then. Don't cut off too much. Don't worry, I only need enough to put it under a microscope. Yeah, was that so bad? Do you want me to put a bandage over your little boo-boo? I show you. Whatever. Oh, I guess with the right training I can make something out of you after all. And what now? Now I go right under the microscope. She got up and sat down at the table. Intently, Anna started at a device with messing around with the nail clipping. Let's see. Putting a fingernail under a microscope is something we used to do in middle school. Quiet, please. There's a scientist at work. Okay. This structure looks a lot like keratin. Wait, isn't keratin also the same material that our hair is made of? I'm starting to get confused about my own human anatomy. Okay, wait. I know that teeth are basically the same material as bones, if I remember correctly. Oh, wait. Maybe I'm stupid, but I think keratin isn't in our hair, but it is sometimes in like shampoo and shit to strengthen the hair stability. Yeah, I don't know. I never had that much biology in my school. Because it is. Well, that's not much of a surprise, really. Keratin is the substance that forms the claws on us dragons and most of the animals here, at least as far as mammals, reptiles, and birds are concerned. So why would you retain this structure but not do anything useful with it is beyond me. It gets better. They grow continuously, so they need to be cut regularly. What happens if you don't cut them? They just keep growing. How much can they keep growing? Pretty much indefinitely. Do they get thicker at least, or what else happens when they grow? They just get longer. What a hassle. So, how long are you planning on keeping me here? Getting impatient already? I'm just saying, our date didn't take all that long, and you mentioned you already have days worth of data from that machine. Well, we nearly specified any terms, and I set out our date until I was officially over. This will certainly go by much quicker if you can show a little patience. Says the Queen of Complaining. I don't complain, I just point out errors. Besides, I'm the Empress, not just a queen. By the way, how do you feel about needles? Go ahead and poke me if you need to. Oh, I will. I'll see. I'll make the most of it then. You need to remove some layers of the next part. What are you going to do? These are just some electrodes, and I'll also measure your brain activity with one of those helmets. Alright, here you go. What is it now? Kinda cold in here. It is? I suppose it might be for you, considering your lack of fur. Luckily, our scales are pretty good insulators. As you saw last time, it actually goes both ways. We're pretty resistant to both heat and cold. Just let me know if I turn blue.
You turn blue when you get cold? I'd like to see that. It was just a joke. Besides, when that happens, it's usually too late to get out of it again unscathed. What a shame. This will also take a while. I want to have a good reference and see how your rates change. Your head shape is a little different from ours, but I think this one should do the trick. Perfect. Just as if it was made for you. I'm not so sure about that. By the way, how can you even be sure that your machinery will have no adverse effects on me? I suppose I can't. That is mildly upsetting. Your physiology is similar enough to ours that there shouldn't be any problems. I see. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. What is this, a polygraph test? No, this is something completely different. I'm also measuring your brain activity here. Besides, I don't really care about the truthfulness of your answers. Rather, this is to establish your natural highs and lows of the value I'm measuring. Go ahead then. Let's start with an easy one. Just say no to the following 3 questions. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Understood? No. I set myself up for this one, didn't I? The question starts now. Are you human? No. I see. Is your favorite color cyan? No. Interesting. Have you been convinced to any crimes? No. I see. Now we'll get to the real part. You can answer the following question however you like. Got it? Did it make you uneasy when you had to answer all these questions negatively? Not really. I see. Interesting. Have you taken a liking to anyone here since you arrived? I see. Did you have any ulterior motives when you came to our world, or is it simple as we are led to? Is it as simple as we are led to believe? There are no ulterior motives. I see. That's all for this test. You can take off the helmet and I'll take care of the electrodes. This kind of seemed like an interrogation. I wanted to keep it simple by asking questions that could get a reaction. I see. It's kind of a shame, because in the end, a lack of additional subjects to this test means the results might not be very useful to us. We probably need to do a few more humans. Then why do them in the first place? The data is still useful, not just as useful as it could be, and besides, I did tell you I'd make the most of it in this room. Well, what's next? I'm not sure yet. Do you want to get close enough to examine mucosa and orifice? Only one person who can answer that question. I guess so. We quarantined Reza when he initially arrived here, but skipped the procedure with you. After examining Reza, we didn't think humans by themselves possessed any danger. Nevertheless, who knows what kind of illness and bacteria you might be housing as an alternate host? I'm not taking a risk without a full protective suit. Does that mean your procedures are going to get a lot more invasive? No, I'm in the mood to put the suit on and sterilize the whole room. To be fair, I haven't heard of anyone I've been in contact with getting any strange diseases thus far. Sure, but then I have to ask you if any of those actually got close enough to you. As in, intimately close. No orifice examinations then. For the next part, we actually have to go outside. That sounds like fun. Depends. Here, strap this to your arm. What is this? A handheld monitor. I want to measure how to perform during exercise. Awesome. At least we found something you like. Let's go then, shall we? Sure thing. And now? Take one lap around the block. I'll be waiting for you here. You can go as fast or slow as you want, but try not to stop until you're back here. I'll be monitoring you, so I know you try to do anything fishy. No need to... Easier said than done, Raidra. I'll be watching. Anyway, you can start whenever. The monitor should take care of the rest. Trying for a consistent speed, I started with a light jog. Soon I was outside the gate and around the corner when I met an unexpected surprise. Oh, hello Raidra. Hey Remy. Just enjoying the fresh air, I see. What about you? Oh, I have some errands to run. Is Emra breathing down the back of your neck again? Always. Well, I better not hold you up then. Until we meet again.
See ya. Afterwards, I finished my lap around the block, arriving only a few minutes after I had started. I suppose it was too much to ask for a lap without any breaks. Maybe I shouldn't have expected you to be as fit as we are. I got distracted on the way. How so? Did you have to stop and smell some flowers? I met Remy. Remy? Oh, I wouldn't mind if that bastard kicked the bucket too. What do you have against him? He's such a self-righteous do-gooder who can't help but stick his nose where it doesn't belong. I don't care what he does as long as he doesn't mess with me, but he does mess with me, so I do care. Anyway, I've got your data, so you can head back inside if you're not too exhausted to walk. Of course. Looking at your data, it's kinda hard to evaluate it without having any reference points. How much exercise do you usually get? A little. I see. You sure get to ask me a lot of questions here. All just part of the test. Though I think those were all the tests I needed to run on you for today. Does that mean we're done here? Oh, some of the data from the scanning machine have been processed. We can look at some pretty pictures of you. Unfortunate as they may be. Well, you don't have to look if you don't want to. Oh right, I totally forgot that you are a mammal. To encounter an intelligent mammal of all things, we're reasonably intelligent at the very least. Why is that so surprising? You already have your myths about humans. Myths are myths. Having you here in the flesh is an entire different thing. It's not like I could use a myth to get a scan like this one. It just seems so funny to me. Do you nurse your young from what? Do you nurse your young from your teeth as well? We do. Let me study your muscle group for a bit. Do you want me to take my clothes off again? I meant the pictures. Oh, I see. You can stay up. You can stay for a little longer in case I have any questions. Okay. While I continued sitting on the bed, she went up to her table and started looking at the scans of muscle groups. As we talked, her eyes never left the screen. Some of these structures are very similar to those found in Damien's kind. I'm not surprised, his stature is similar enough. True. Now shut up and let me concentrate. Does that approach ever work? What are you talking about? You being that rude to everyone? Sorry? You apologize, that's a new one. I don't want to make any excuses, but with a high pressure job like mine, I don't really get to go out and socialize much. Add some deteriorating circumstances to that, and you get my life. Don't you have any friends? Not really. If I keep skipping grades like I did and we're on the fast track in university, I wouldn't really have the time to make or keep any friends either. I think the last time I had a real friend was more than a decade ago. What happened to that friend? Well, we went to the same class for a while. I ended up skipping a grade after that year. She found new friends, I didn't. We still met, but those visits became less and less frequent as the time went on. I was around 10 years old when her parents prompted me to visit her. She was in the hospital, apparently had been for some time already. I didn't know because I hadn't seen her for quite a while at that point. She had contracted some sort of degenerative disease that caused her to gradually lose control of her muscles. Her case was practically bad. She was already paralyzed from the neck down by the time I went to visit her. When I entered her room, I couldn't even pretend to be her friend. Lying in the bed was just a crude image of her former self. It was as if she was already dead. I couldn't bear to see her like that. It scared me. It didn't stay long. Seeing her like that was... I just told myself I never wanted to end up like her, dying slowly, painfully, and alone. That was the last time I saw her. She died a few weeks later. And that's why you became a scientist? Not really. I became a scientist because that's apparently what I'm good at. Doesn't make my work less important though. Just from what we did here today, we might make a few breakthroughs in several areas. Really? You are the completely different yet stable evolutionary line. There are some things that are similar in our bodies and others that are completely different. Anything that is different and works can tell us something new about biology.
All the various species that have their own challenges and diseases, it'll come in handy somewhere for sure. And you're doing all of that because of your pure unselfish heart. Not really, but I do the brunt of the work, then I deserve to have my name on it. Guess so. Well, I think that's it for the day. You can go if you like. Sure, thanks for having me. My pleasure. We could get together if you want to. Is there even anything left for you to test? Well, I have plenty of data for a while, so I guess we'd have to find something else for us to do. I see. Well, I'll leave you to your work then. Mm-hmm. Why were there 3 tarot cards this time? Hey, I bitched a whole chapter today. I awoke with my eyes fixed on the ceiling wallpaper. A sense of dread lingered from a nightmare I no longer remembered. How many more times would I see this apartment before I returned to my own world? Or before something happened to me? I got ready for the day and tried to shake off those thoughts. Sebastian? Yep. Hey, Raidra. And right on the minute, you show up at this time every day like clockwork. Clocks are reliable, and reliable is good in this line of work. I think you can guess why I'm here. Is it Riza again? What happened this time? The chief will explain everything once we get there. Let's not keep him waiting, shall we? Bryce is back on the job? Oh, we got another murder. We arrived at a place that would look like an ordinary house. Had it not been for its extraordinary size, it reminded me more of a hostel than a family home. Chief? There you are. Wait, Randy is supposed to be with Amara? Luckily, she doesn't work every day of the week. I see. Anyway, we nearly done here, so I'll keep it short. Riza broke into the hatchery. There's another murder victim, an employee of the hatchery who was on the night duty. Her body was found quite away from here. There's evidence of a struggle, but she covered a lot of the distance before it was ultimately over. Loud bangs were heard from the area her body was found, and she was numerous wounds consistent with both the wounds of the previous victims and that other weapon he has. By that point, news of another corpse didn't have the same impact anymore. She was just another one of Riza's faceless victims. And at this point it becomes problematic. A hatchery? Is that what this building is? Well, not only. It's a council-owned building and they are like keeping everything related to the sector under the same roof. So besides the hatchery, there's also an orphanage and a family clinic inside. There's also offices related to the administration of those services. Okay, wait. Oh, okay. Given my limited knowledge of English language and given the context, a hatchery is most likely a nurturing home for, well, dragon eggs. And by that definition, yeah, it's what I said. It's a nursery home for dragon eggs. Because I heard hatchery and thought it was for like chicken eggs and shit. And then because I forgot that dragons do indeed lay eggs. That reminds me of the production facility. It should. They have a similar management structure. Can we get back to the case? Sorry for the interrupt, Chief. Wait a minute. If an orphanage is in there too... There are no other casualties, but Riza got something else when he broke in. A generator, as well as a few eggs. Luckily, the power was restored before anything happened to all the other eggs left inside. But needless to say, the parents of the stolen eggs are not going to be happy. Why would he steal eggs in the first place? Maybe you can tell us. That's why you're here after all. I don't know. I have no idea what he would even do with them. Maybe he wants to use them as a bargaining chip. After all, he still has to make his escape and the portal is still broken. Do you think he wants to exchange them for safe passage through the portal? Maybe. It's still broken though, so I'm not sure if that would much help. Maybe he has the parts needed to repair it and now has everything he needs to escape. He could trade the eggs for safe passage, fix the portal and leave. That's not the only possibility. He may not be the one who broke the portal. Maybe he thinks you've intentionally sabotaged it so he can't leave, and he feels he needs the extra bargaining chips to get you to repair it. If he just wants to leave, I feel like he could have done that already. Doesn't even matter who sabotaged the portal. We only know that Riza's actions are becoming more and more desperate. He kidnapped the defenseless X and even used a human weapon. Something clearly goes on with him. Maybe it means that he'll slip up soon. Who knows? Maybe he already has. Who knows? Maybe he already has. In any case, we're done here. Let's head back to the department and decide what to do next. Hopefully some of the test results will tell us something. After a brief walk, we were in Bryce's office again. Initially, test results had already come in, but didn't reveal any insightful of new information. So, what do we do now? Go over the timeline again? Not yet. There are a few things I'd like to take care of first. What do you have in mind? Suddenly there was a knock at the door. Come in. Maverick? What are you doing here? And why do you have to curse my voice like that? Well, although we didn't see her for a whole one whole chapter, so Ixo. Chief, can I talk to you alone? We're quite busy here, Maverick. What is this about? Riza. Well, you're looking at the Riza task force, so if you have anything to say, you can say in front of all of us. I see. I think I know where Riza is. You know where Riza is, at this very moment. I have a good reason to believe that I have located his hideout. He could still be there, or he might have already moved on. Damn, Maverick, tell me everything. I've been tracking him for a while now. When he was at the portal a few days ago, I nearly got him and managed to follow him for a while before I lost him. Based on that, where he's been and where his victims have been found, I could triangulate his whereabouts. He has to live somewhere, right? He needs a base to hide the generators and everything he has stolen. Bryce cleared the clutter on the table and smoothed out a map of the town on its surface. It already had a few locations related to the case marked on it. Show it to me. Prior victims were found here and here. Today's was here. She was following him, likely because she wanted to save the axe he stole. This is the path he took from the portal when I followed him a few days ago. I think I don't do Mary's voice in the right depth. Give me a sec. So we established that this area of operation, extrapolate it, and we can narrow it down to this. Now where could he be hiding in this area? He's certainly not within the village borders, so unless he's decided to live in the wilderness or in a hole in the ground, the only option is here. The abandoned farm. When did you figure all of this out? Just a few minutes ago. When I did, I immediately came here. Damn it, Maverick. This might be it. Should we send the observation team? As if we had one to spare. Heck, we're going there right now. What about you, Maverick? I'm still on sick leave, remember? Besides, if I saw Riza right now, I'd probably do something I shouldn't. How about you, Raidra? Isn't this going to be dangerous? Riza probably won't harm you, as you're the only one who could possibly consider an ally. Good point. If anything, with you there, he might be able to convince him to give up. Or we could act like he intended to trade you for the axe if he tries to use them as a bargaining chip. You're not really going to use me as a ransom, right? We'll see about that. I suppose if it's necessary, I have to play along. I've got your back. If there's one thing I could do to make the whole situation even worse, it would be messing up with you. We have the element of surprise if we walk into his base right now, but we risk Riza lashing out with his weapon. If we want to resolve this peacefully, observation is probably the way to go. I guess we won't need Raidra there for that, though. True enough. Alright, Raidra. You stay here and wait for further instructions. We may need you at a moment's notice. I don't do anything without us telling us you to. Understand? Okay. Alright then. Let's go, Sebastian. After you, Chief. And Maverick, good job. Thank you, Chief. Shortly after they vanished, Maverick also turned to leave. Oh, Mama, I thought I could talk with him a bit. Then I had to wait. Bryce and Sebastian were observing the farm now, and if anything new happened, I would be the first to know. I spent some time looking around Bryce's office and studying all the material he had gathered about the case, though there wasn't any information I didn't already know. After a few hours, the telephone in his office rang, and not sure whether the call was intended for me or Bryce, I picked up. Radar? Yes? I think you need to come here. Give you the directions. No problem. Hey, is this the farm we... Can't be. If that's an abandoned farm, it can't be the farm I raided with Anna the other day. So what happened? A whole lot of nothing. There was no movement to or from the building in the time we've been watching. He usually operates during the night, so maybe he's just asleep. In that case, it would be the best for us to go in before he has a chance to make his escape. Or maybe he's not even in there anymore. He could have seen us and slipped away unnoticed, with plenty of time to destroy the evidence while we have been waiting here. You're right. Either he's still inside or he's already gone and not coming back. Let's go in. What should I do? You're coming with me. Sebastian, you walk around and watch the back of the building, just in case he tries to escape. I'm on, Chief. So we have two options here. The first is that you stay here and I go inside. This way, if Wheeler tries to flee and sees you, it might throw him off. You might be able to stop him, or if we go into a standoff, I can tell him that you're here as well. And second, you go in first and I follow you. This way, if we find him, maybe we can resolve things peacefully. You might be able to talk to him, and even if it doesn't work out, you got me, Sebastian, nearby to stop him. I don't think he's planning to harm you on sight, and if we can hear things starting to go wrong, we might still be able to surprise him. So either way, we take him by surprise. Just have the option of talking to him first. I think you could pull it off. Maybe if you're there, we won't act as irrationally as you would if he's suddenly standing in front of him. I'm not going to force you if you don't want if you want to do it though. I'll go in. I'll do it. I go in. All right, let's go. We slowly made our way to the front door. I took a deep breath and tried to prepare myself for the possibility of facing Reza. The tense scenarios and things I could say to him rushed through my head as I pressed down on the door handle. The door inched open with a creak, but I noticed a slight resistance and a strange sound that suddenly made me hesitate. Oh, you sneaky bastard. When I looked down to the source of the noise, I saw a taut wire through the gap in the door, hovering up over the floor of the entryway. It was a pretty close call, you know. Too bad Rhea wasn't here after all. Maybe he ran when he saw us approach. Strange for him to leave everything behind, though. Everything he stole and all the generators are still here. Do you think the trap for us in particular? Probably not. It was likely more general safety precaution. If he had any time to prepare for this, he would have taken the stuff with him. True enough. I had no idea you could make a bomb out of a generator. Oh, you have no idea. Then you just haven't been with us long enough. You know, if you know how it's not even that complicated. And Reza somehow figured it out. Apparently so. Does he have any skills pertaining to engineering or electricity? Well, he works on cars before and fixes a lot of things back home. I guess that would qualify. He also could have done his own research. Either way, this makes him even more dangerous. At least we now have a whole building worth of clues. Rydra, can you go to your apartment from here? We'll be busy with the scene for a while. No problem. I'll leave you to your work then. Good job, Rydra. Thanks. Oh god, I can imagine that if Bryce was going in on himself, the whole fucking thing just exploded. I'm surprised he called me back so quickly. How's the investigation going? Oh, the investigation is going swimmingly. As you can expect, we need all the help we can get. As usual. With how this case has been growing, we've realized we must employ external help. Oh? Yeah, we've requested assistance from one of the cities. We hope they send some good investigators our way soon. I see. We were so close today, I could have been in there, you know. Maybe we just came a few minutes too late. And if he knows how to make bombs from generators, Who's to say he won't start using them elsewhere? At least he doesn't have any right now, does he? You said all the generators that were stolen are now accounted for. True. Still, this whole case is growing to be too much for a small town police department. I hope you get the help you need. Me too. But right now, you can help us again. Well, what do you have for me? When we searched the building, we found more than the things Rita stole. We also found this bloody bandage. Do you think that's his? That's what we need to find out, but given all that we know, it probably is. So he's wounded. We know he was injured during the fight with his first victim, but whether this is from the same wound or something else, I'm not sure. In any case, you can bring it into the lab for us to find out more. Sure. Next, we have a witness who reported hearing loud bangs during the night. We'd like to send someone who make a follow-up visit. We need to confirm the witness's statement and see if that has anything new to share. Also, now that we have reclaimed your PDAs, we're going to send one of the archive for an analysis. Since they have experiences with human artifacts, they are better suited to do this than any of our departments. No problem. And lastly, we have the eggs. It's a relief that we found them unharmed in the building. They're safe and ready to be sent back to the hatchery. Shouldn't we take care of those first? It's not as urgent as you might think. Our eggs are pretty resilient. Being in the care of the hatchery is more an insurance than a requirement. Some people choose to keep them in their own home until they hatch, rather than having the hatchery take care of it. The hatchery has been notified, but they won't be able to send someone for a few hours. I've heard that they're really understaffed. If you bring the eggs and the paperwork to them, you speed up the process, but it's not an urgent matter. I see. In any case, I'll just leave everything here until I get to it. Feel free to do these tasks as you wish. I know it's laughable that we don't even have a free hand for simple errands. Don't worry about it. By the way, are you planning to attend the summer festival? Should I? It's hard to think about something fun when I'm wrapped up in this investigation. For sure, it's important to take a short rest so you don't lose your head. There's so much to see at a festival, practically a big firework. Dragons enjoy fireworks too? I would think something like that would feel so commonplace since many of you breathe fire. It's not quite the same. We still appreciate the wonder of colorful bursts in the sky. On the last day, there's always a big fireworks show. Everyone usually attends it. Everyone? Yes, it has a great tradition behind it. What peeves me most is that I'll be on guard duty when it happens this year, so I probably won't be able to see a thing. I'll be sure not to miss it then. Anyway, it should go back to the investigation now. I'll leave the stuff for you here and I'll take care of the rest once I get back, alright? Sure thing. Good luck, Raidra. You too. Okay. Oof. I'll be honest, even I don't care that he says it's not that important. I want to bring back the eggs, even though someone else is doing it later. It would have done it later. I want to go bring back the eggs because I'm not a parent myself, but I can somehow understand the struggle a parent must have not knowing what is going on with their child. Even though in this case it's if it's a newborn or still an egg, I don't think the difference is that much different. Not knowing how or where your baby is must be ravishing. I was on my way to the hatchery when I heard a voice call out to me. Hello there! I turned around to see an unfamiliar face before me. Oh, you're a big one. Hey, I'm Kevin. Raidra, nice to meet you. Could I perhaps interest you in our Midwest institution? Is this some sort of religious thing? Not at all, it's a college. Sorry, but I already got my degree. Yeah, I know, it was just a joke. Oh, so me going to college is a joke now, I'm not good enough, is that it? Not at all. Even if you wanted to study there, I don't think you'll be with us long enough to make use of it. I think it came out wrong. You're lucky I won't take this the wrong way. Whew. So, you're a recruiter for this college? Nope, this is my summer job. Once the semester starts up again, I actually be attending to get my degree in psychology. College? Wonderful times. Is that sarcasm? Maybe. I didn't know you had college here, though. Well, you do now. Why do you even approach me if you know I'm not going to go to college here? Don't tell me that's because I'm a human. Well, I was actually trying to talk to that old lady who walked by, but once you turned around, there was no going back. Oh, well, thanks you for not making things awkward. Hey, I treat everyone nicely until I have reason not to. Oh, I can live by that. That's good customer service. Sure, but it's not just for the job, you know, that's just me. Oh, I should really be going, I have some things to take care of. Alright, no problem, see ya. Here we are again. Hey, Rydra, isn't it? What are you doing here? Oh, I just came by to drop these off. Drop what off? The stolen eggs. I figured the hatchery would want them back. Oh, I was actually going to get those from the police department later. I'm so glad they got back safely. Emily, stop chewing my leg. It's tasty. Oh well. Anyway, I was about to go inside, so I'll take those off your hand. Thanks for bringing them here. No problem. You turn the eggs. Yep, good. The eggs are safe. Parents can be happy. Okay. Manage the facility. Take the PDAs to the library. I think I'm gonna go bring the PDAs back. I will most likely meet Remy again then. Doesn't look like Remy is here. Oh! Excuse me. Can I help you? Do you know where the audio section is? I'm looking for some sheet music. Sorry, I have no idea. I don't even work here. Oh, don't worry about it. The staff all seem to be hiding somewhere. Anyway, have a good day. You too. Maybe Remy is somewhere in the back or in his office. Hello? You know the section is usually for staff only. I'm just looking for Remy. I'm supposed to drop off this PDA. Well, he is not working today. Apparently he has other engagements. If you need to find him, you can probably do so at his home. Can I just leave the PDA here? Oh, I'm not going to take responsibility for this if it gets lost. If you want to drop it off, go find him. Okay. By the way, I hope you do not take it personally that I tried to send you away. To be honest, I'm glad that you are still here. Remember, I said that I believed you when I told me your side of the story. I always have to do what is in the public best interest, and now there will be not blame me if I want to have a connection with Freezer. If you have any connections with Freezer, I hope you can understand that. Here's Remy's address in case you need it. Thank you. I already was at Remy's place though. Oh, hello Raira, what are you doing here? I just came by to give you this. I was already at the library, but Amara refused to let me drop it off there. I see. Hey, it's one of your PDAs. I told you one would find its way to me eventually. Yep, and now you can look at all the humanoids you want. You have no idea how much I'm looking forward to this. I may not be working today, but I'm still going to check it out as soon as possible. I'm just going to leave you to it then. Thanks. Enjoy. Thanks for all the help. I'll take care of the remaining tasks so you can take the rest of the day off. I'm sure you have things to do other than helping the police department. It's no problem, really. My trip to your world wasn't supposed to be a vacation. Alright then, let's see you next time. See you. After this fateful day, I was glad to finally have some sort of respite. I wandered into the kitchen as I considered tonight's dinner. Should I cook something or order out? When I returned to the living room, I suddenly found my strength leaving me and collapsed on the floor. Mood. Oh no. The next thing I saw was a blurry stone ceiling. As my eyesight slowly returned, I managed to sit up, but I was in a cave and before me stood a familiar, mysterious face. I apologize for the violence, but I can assure you it was the easiest way. Where am I? Is this your hideout? It was a temporary accommodation, so we can be undisturbed for this meeting. Someone else used to live here until recently. Do you know who I am? Well, you're not Reza. Good. What did it take for you to figure that out? Since you're not whispering anymore, I can hear clearly in your voice. I had a feeling that you couldn't be him since the first time we met, though. Which first time are you talking about? The generator in the cellar when you pushed me. I see. You can call me the administrator. No other humans are supposed to be here though. I assume that's why you're wearing the mask, you don't want to be recognized. That is correct. Whoever you are, you also saved my life. On more than one occasion. Your presence here doesn't make any sense. You couldn't have come through the portal, the dragons would have noticed. This is where you are wrong. My arrival through the portal is what led the dragons to discover it in the first place. Is that so? When I crawled out from the hole in the earth that hid the portals, there were no gods to discover me. My appearance exposed the portal, but the dragons didn't know what it was there. So you arrived even before Reza. That makes it the actual first human to come to this world. That is more true than you might think. Just who are you then? I may have arrived through the portal like you, but my story is very different. Before the fall of humanity, I was an engineer. I was part of a team that was formed to create bioweapons. Our task was to create these bioweapons in a country where their development hadn't yet been regulated or outlawed. These weapons were planned to be a low-cost alternative for poor countries to wage war, so they would no longer have to rely on expensive drones and machines of warfare. I was to set up the lab here where bioweapons development would have taken place. It was a clandestine operation set to be in the middle of the wilderness. The laboratory was an in-depth research and living unit and provided everything we needed without having to rely on external resources or even on existing power grids. Everything was to be teleported right into the middle of nowhere with no traces or paper trail to follow, so internationally communities or law enforcement would have no idea of our operation. Our only connection to the outside world after setup would have been a two-way teleporter to our headquarters, who would provide everything we needed. Where we already could teleport individual people, teleporting a whole building was another matter entirely. Our solution was matter compression technology. Incredibly expensive, but operating in the grey market was also very lucrative. The technology behind it was much more complicated than even teleportation, despite being based on it. While teleportation works by utilizing black holes with a beginning and an end, compression technology relies on a loop, keeping matter in a sort of limbo state until the loop is broken. Working with black holes was very complicated to begin with, but this shape required much more finesse and thus was more expensive. It was to be sent alone to set up the lab and the portal so the rest of the team could arrive safely. In case you didn't know, it is possible to use a portal to send someone to a previous defined endpoint, therefore it is not required to have a portal at a destination to be sent there. But as you can imagine, this is also very dangerous. A single variable off by a fraction could mean the difference between landing safely at your destination and smothering in space. Of course, my employer did not want anything like that to happen, not necessarily for my own sake, but because of all the unfathomable expensive equipment I had with me. Regardless, something went wrong anyway. Despite all their checks and safeguards, they only could minimize the risk so much. Even if the risk is a fraction of a fraction, sometimes you are just that unlucky. And sometimes it turns out that your bad luck is a blessing in disguise. I arrived safely somewhere in the jungle of Earth, yet it was not the destination that I had been planned. I knew something was off, but nevertheless, I set to work immediately. At the very least, I could prepare the building. I would have shelter and then could begin preparations for a project. Getting the portal into work order could make more time as it was a complicated process that could take several weeks. If things had gone wrong as I suspected, I would at least be able to establish contact with headquarters after the portal had been set up and I would be able to return. While teleporting the lab to the wrong location was certainly a costly mistake, I was still lucky to have my life. Before long, I discovered the truth about the place I had arrived. While I was still on Earth, it was not the Earth I knew. It was the Earth of 65 million years ago. Time travel? We knew that by utilizing black holes for teleportation, time travel was a theoretical possibility. It was something even my company didn't dare to attempt though, and teleportation itself was still very new technology. But here I was, 65 millions in the past. With a research station all to myself, the company would revel in the opportunity to study and profit from all the different life forms I could see. If only they knew about them. I've spent a few weeks setting up the portal as planned, yet when I tried to re-establish contact with my employer, I was met with silence. Despite the time discrepancy, the portal should have been able to find my companies in the present. For a black hole, sending something through time is no different than sending something through space. However, when we built the portal, we gave them a specialized configuration. It was only possible to travel through space by aligning them across the time axis. That meant that I, in the past, would still be able to search for portals in the present to connect with. My counterparts in the present, though, would not be able to find me in the past even if they tried. But I couldn't find them. Not a single one. Even after checking the portal for its function, I determined that, of all intents and purposes, the portal from the company should have been there to connect with. It was then that I had a terrible realization. The portal in the present didn't exist anymore, or were no longer operational. Maybe the blunder of teleporting the lab caused them to reconsider the risk of using this technology. After all, it was already controversial that it had been outlawed in several countries. I would have been surprised if they decided to cut the loss, but it was highly unlikely that they would have immediately shut down every single portal and left me stranded without notice. Portal technology was still being relied on in several places in the present. In my mind, only one possibility remained: superweapons. Various nations had been using them as bargaining chips for some time. I didn't think the threats had become that serious, but one of them must have launched a weapon and destroyed the majority of Earth. Could have been the result of a malfunction, or perhaps the political situation had escalated. Either way, it was not possible for me to establish any means of communication and find out what had really happened. I could have sent myself back into the present with the right coordination, but it was a risky endeavor, and I also had to ask myself if it was a present I wanted to return to. I was sure that if anything had even left a word, the aftermath of a possible retaliation strike would take care of the rest. In the end, I had to realize that whichever present did exist was likely not one that worth returning to. It made my decisions all that easier. Instead of returning to a destroyed civilization, I saw an opportunity. Rather than creating bioweapons, I could use the lab to create a new civilization, shaped by my own ideas. I had all the necessary data and the most modern methods and machines at my fingertips. Besides, most of the process had already been automated. In the end, I still used the lab for what it had been created for, fusing human and animal DNA to create beings that were mostly animal but possessed a greater intellect and allowed them to learn whatever they wanted them to. As I didn't have any animal samples sent with me when I initially arrived, I collected them from the source available to me. Automated process with mixed the DNA further across the samples. New abilities were added to enhance the armor, flight, spit, and spit weapons to make the new creature more effective in combat. The result was a number of different species, each tailored and optimized to fill a specific role in a war situation. Hormones allowed me to speed up their growth, and with the lab's learning program, they could be educated in whatever manners I saw fit. My first concern was self-sufficiency. They needed a kind of knowledge that would enable them to come together as their own independent society. Luckily, the automated process in the lab was small and helpful. I unleashed the first generation of my creatures and as their leader founded our first village. I thought we could really pull it off, and once I saw what they could survive without my guidance, and also govern themselves, I knew my plan was a success. When I realized that this new society would eventually be destroyed, I told myself that I would do anything I could to save it. Destroyed? What are you talking about? Have you realized where we are? The Chicxulub asteroid is headed for us. Chicxulub? Chicxulub? With a diameter... Oh no! Oh no! We are... Oh no! We are... Okay, dragons, the dragon world is the past. The dragons themselves are bioengineered combination of human and dinosaur DNA shaped to the image of dragons by definition. That's why we are so similar even. And the meteor is the one in our reality that destroyed the dinosaurs. With a diameter of over 10 kilometers, its impact will create humongous clouds of dust, throwing Earth into a literal dark age.
They will block out the sunlight for over a year, killing off many species of plants that rely on photosynthesis to survive. As a result, animals that eat those plants will also vanish, as will those who sought sustenance from these herbivores. All in all, 57% of all species will vanish, and in terrestrial ecosystem, all animals heavier than a single kilogram will die. That would be 2 by 2 pounds in case you didn't know. It will be the end of everyone who lives here, every single dragon you have seen, unless we do something. We? What am I supposed to do? Do you not wish to save them? I came here to help humanity. Now you tell me that this society, this whole world, is also on the brink of extinction? That is the truth. What kind of difference could a single person like me even make to save it? Right now, it's also a single person that can present its greatest threat. Reza. How? In order to stop the comet, we will need as much power as possible. We reclaimed all the generators he stole. Besides, how could a few of them be enough to make a difference for something like this? Don't forget that Reza is still out there, looking for more. The truth is, I don't know if all the generators we could gather would ever be enough. We only require enough power to divert the comet's path during a crucial moment. But even if this plan is possible, we will need every single generator we can get. So my goal hasn't changed, just need to find Reza. Yes, but you'll need my help, and maybe the help of others. You know that Reza is dangerous, and with his gun, he has a clear advantage. Don't think that he wouldn't hesitate to kill if you were in his way. Then what shall we do? Do you know where he is? No, but I think I'll find him soon, and you can count on my support when that happens. I see. There's only one thing that still doesn't make sense to me though. The dragons have myths about you, but they don't know or remember you. They haven't seen any human for who knows how long. How much time could have passed since you created them and now? How many generations could it take you to forget? Why isn't there proof of your existence? I don't know exactly how long it's been myself. When I realized the time period I was in and that my creation was about to be wiped out in the future, I wanted to go to that future and see what they had become. I disabled the portal's time access safeguard and thus enabled it to connect with others in different times. It also included the very same portal in the future. With the generator of our lab being able to supply that portal with the power for an indefinite amount of time, I was able to travel to any point in the future I wanted to. The entry and end of the black hole would be the same place and the same portal, with the way traveled being just along the time axis. Since I could now search for connection points in any time period, I could look for my own portal in the future and pinpoint the moment its signal stopped. The comet. Exactly. I found a specific point in time and traveled to a future that was as close to that event as I could safely manage. After I arrived, my escape from the portal's hiding place led to its discovery by the dragons. It and the laboratory were unearthed. I still don't understand how a portal found yours, or why we ended up arriving at this particular time period. The portal you found was no doubt one of my companies. They must have been connected before, so the correspondence data for the connection already existed when you found it. I'm not sure if this could bypass the anti-time travel safeguard though. Was it completely operational when you found it? No, it took a little bit of tinkering. Probably jumping the hardware safeguard in the process. Now, considering that connected portal travels along the time axis together, the data of the beginning and endpoints are adjusted automatically. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to transport anything from one place in the world to another without also sending it through time. Since these two portals must have been connected at some point, the corresponds data of the connection between those two portals already existed. When using the same connection without changing any of the data, this would mean that despite the time discrepancy between those two portals, time still progressed linearly for them. I'm not sure I'm understanding. Let me try to rephrase it. The portal you found and my own share a connection. However, while the connection is locked to a certain place, which is whenever the portal is at the time at the moment, it is not connected to a specific point in time. For us and the physical machines that are the portals, time passes linearly, and we can't do anything about that. However, for the black hole, this isn't the case. Just as the entry and endpoint can be in different places, they can also be in different times. In order to not send something through time, then we just want to transport something from one portal to another. The portal also anchored together in such a way that the time data is automatically synchronized. Essentially, this means that ever since you arrived in this world, the same amount of time that has passed for you has also passed in the place where you came from.
I see. So despite being a different time period, time still passes linearly on both sides of the portal. Otherwise, it would not have been possible for you to send messages back and forth to each other. If they were not synchronized, the portals on both sides would stay connected only to a single point in space, but also to a single point in time, thus making proper two-way communication impossible. Okay, so just to have it in my mind right now, what he's saying is the portals stay connected between time periods. So they are basically, yeah, what he's like I said, if we take one timeline, I'm not putting out paint for that one though. If we, oh for fuck's sake, I want to visualize it real quick. So, if we have one timeline, which is a bit clunky right now, and we have one portal in our present. This portal is synchronized via the time dilation or via the black hole with a portal in the past, which would be the past portal now. This also brings in the point though that and now this is the part where I have to improvise because we're working with two-dimensional space to explain quantum physics, is that theoretically now we have another timeline. Wait a minute. We now have a second timeline, not a second timeline, but the same timeline from a different perspective, where the past is still the past, but the present is also still the present. So time moves on in both timelines, and because the portals are still connected with each other, they are also connected on the same time period. That's why while both timelines move forward, or it is one timeline just on different points at the timeline, the timelines still stay synchronized. So like an anchor, while the time moves forward in one timeline, it also moves forward in the second timeline. It is complicated, more complicated than I want to admit, but it is what it is. So the end result of that is that, yeah, we can't go deeper into the past because nobody knows how to operate the portals to be more prepared this time. And also I think we already reached the point of no return in terms of time paradoxes, but that is completely another thing. I just needed a visualization to completely comprehend what just happened here. But it happened, so yeah. Like I said, if the blue X is the human world and the green X is the past in the dragon world in the past, then time moves in both timelines, or that one timeline just with two different perspectives are still working with each other. I mean, I think I could represent it better if I just do this one real quick, where one timeline is still this one, where we have this point in X and the passing green. So human world is blue, dragon world is green. So now we put this on a second timeline for better visualization, in which the green X is their present. So let's not say that those are different timelines, but this is my perspective. The upper one is my perspective versus the, give me a sec, this is my perspective, or the human perspective of the timeline. While this one here is the dragon perspective of the timeline. And my writing is bad as fuck. So we have those two timelines, or yeah, we have those two timelines. Their present is all past, but the portals are still connected with each other and don't desynchronize, but time still moves forward in both cases, so they also move, yeah, they move in both cases forward because the time synchronization locks the portal with each other. But since time didn't stop, because none of us has the world, time still moves forward in both cases simultaneously, and it still works as a two-way connection. Like the administrator just said, if we would just go to a fixed point in time, there wouldn't be an it wouldn't have been possible to send letters to each other. But thanks to the black hole, or at least that's how I interpreted it, both of course, both times work with each other since it's the same world, so there is no time dilation because of different positions in the time axis or shit like that. So what's happening is that we can't waste time because we can't go back in time, even though we're having basically a time machine. But since time moves, since we are connected via the wormhole, meaning that our times are hooked to each other, like they are here right now, means that, why is it so non-thick right now? So since our timelines are connected to each other, or portals are connected with each other, and with that our time points, time moves still forward, and the link makes it that we can't go back to a different past, not only without creating a time paradox, but also still running out of time. So we don't have much time before the meteor kills the dragon world, and we have to see what we have to do. So, and now that we have that problem solved, for my headache and my ADHD, because I need to visualize that shit, we can go back to the video. We can go back to the game. If they were not synchronized, the portals on both sides would stay connected, not only to a single point in space, but also to a single point in time, thus making proper two-way communication impossible. However, this is only possible through the connection that has already been forged. If we wanted to, we could also use our portal to send you back to your own time period, but to a moment before Riza even arrived here. But that would mean there would be two of me, right? Wouldn't that assume a time paradox? I can only tell you that it would work. No one has studied time travel before, though, so if there are any consequences, then I am not sure of them. Most likely an entire new timeline could be created. There would be a timeline without a radar altogether, and in the new one there would be two of you. This is becoming way too complicated. I apologize. To come back to your original question, I am not sure how much time passed between the time I left my newborn society and now. Since the portal was not designed for time travel, I have no way knowing how the variable translated to our perception of time. It could have been thousands or millions of years. How could the portal or even the power source still be operational after all this time? The portal received its power from the generator in the lab. These units were fitted with the absolute best technology we had to offer. It was designed to provide substantial power completely independently from any already existing network or power lines. It gains energy from many sources: sun rays, earth heat, movement, just to name a few. Keep in mind, it had to power a whole laboratory and research station, while also providing the energy required for all of its inhabitants and the associated energy expenditure. Taking its power from Earth itself, a generator like this could continue providing power to the lab indefinitely. Speaking of which, why haven't I seen a single dinosaur since I arrived? It seems that the Dragon Society expanded over the whole continent. Many still hunt on their own for sustenance, and such as the original species they were based on have mostly vanished, as in direct competition to ours proved to be far superior. Also, they have proved taking measures against having big predators roam the cities and villages. Yet while the dragon's population has increased tremendously, I have found that by and large their society as a whole has not changed much. Is that why everything here looks like it was made for humans? I suppose so. The learning program I initially used gave them knowledge about things and how to create them, yet of course those were only humans' inventions and designs. I did never once stop to think that they should adjust how certain things look. A lot of the furniture and objects I've seen look like impractical for a dragon. I was surprised at that too, but I have an explanation for this phenomena. Don't forget that their genome was designed by an AI program to make them into effective bioweapons. The idea was to have them indoctrinated at a young age. After reaching adolescence, their learning capability would be greatly diminished, this resulting in subjects that would stay loyal and be unlikely to change their desired behavior. Instincts also play a role. I imagine they are very much at odds with their learned behavior. Instincts in animals never change, and instinctual behavior will always be there. If a given trait has been programmed into the genome as an instinct, it is not very likely to change, even though numerous generations. We can see the result of this here. While I initially made them learn a certain set of value and knowledge, I have found that the expression of those ideas has hardly changed.
And after I was gone, each new generation learned from its elders, and much of the initial knowledge and information was retained for all this time. The genome as a whole did change, however, which was unavoidable over time. If they had been used as bioweapons as intended, they would have been nothing more than an army of identical clones. While I can see subtle change in behavior as a result, some traits are still very much present in them. They are content with don't strive for more. They don't innovate or change, so technologically breakthroughs or no inventions are rarity. It's quite the opposite, really. They much more value tradition and their ways, which have not changed much in all these years. I see. How much time do we even have left to stop the comet? In a few weeks, the comet will pass the moon, and its gravitational field will pull the comet's trajectory towards Earth. This is when we will need to be ready. If we strike then, we only need to minimally affect its path in order for the comet to pass Earth safely. We won't be enough time for the inhabitants of this world to prepare for if Reza steals our greatest assets. So it's all about Reza and the generators, isn't it? Indeed. By the way, I fixed the portal in case we need to use it. Did you break it to prevent me from being sent away? No, that wasn't me. Reza better not use it to escape. Trust me, the portal is the greatest asset. I have programmed it with emergency coordinates. If you should find yourself in a hopeless situation and feel there's no other way out, go to the portal. I have made sure only you will be able to use them. I'll keep that in mind. So what's your plan? What do we do now? I will resume my work and you will continue yours. Find Reza. The administrator turned to leave. Wait, what's with all the secrecy? Why are you still wearing the mask? Why don't we pull our resources together and you show me your hideout? Don't you think it would be better if we were completely frank with me? No, not now. Why do I have the bad feeling that... okay, now here comes a hardcore theory. It is either maybe an resentful Reza from a different timeline, or it is us from a different timeline. Like one where... yeah, just us from a different time. I don't even want to try to elaborate how I think this is, but I just think it is a possibility. A second later, the figure had already vanished into the... wait, fuck it. When I followed, I realized that I wasn't sure how to get back to my apartment. Surrounded by trees in the blanket of night, it was hard to make out where I stood. After wandering through the underbush, I realized that the lights on the horizon had to be coming from the village and made my way back. I returned to my apartment without much trouble. When I looked at the clock, I was surprised to see how much time has passed. Not having anything left to do for the day, I soon fell into a deep slumber. Seems there's nothing for me to do this morning. I guess they don't need me at the police department. Not that I mind. I think I'm gonna meet up with Anna again. Guess she's here. Hey Anna. Hey. What's going on? You sound pretty worried on the phone. Worried? If I was worried, I mean I was afraid of something that might happen, but I'm way beyond that. I know exactly what's going to happen to me. It's over. It's all over. What are you talking about? First they came to my lab and now they went to my home too. Who did? The police! They raided the place. They had a warrant and everything. I already know what they have all... I already know that they have all they need to convict me. I'm going to die in prison. Why? It's because of those tests I did on you. You will die in prison because you looked at my fingernails under a microscope? I'm a bit confused. Why don't you start from the beginning? Alright. Do you get a black screen flashback? Yes. This goes years back and you already know half the story. I was a brilliant mind who had skipped years in school and was on the first track though, a university with an incredibly lucrative career in front of me. You wouldn't believe the offers I had based on all my accomplishments. I was still in school and already solving problems that no one had even touched before. I had so many awards lining my shelf that new ones just went straight to the trash. I didn't need them. I just enjoyed the challenge. Besides, I couldn't care less about what some old people thought about my work, as if I needed their approval. I was already more than any of them could have dreamed to be. The next problem I was going to tackle was an incurable disease. I started my research, but in an ironic twist of fate, I ended up contracting the very same disease myself. Whether someone had not been followed... Not now. Whether someone had been following health or safety protocols as well as they should have, or if I was just unlucky, I never know. But the reality was that I now had a disease that was treatable but not curable. Despite having helped an incredible amount of people with my work, I was now the one who needed help. Yet there was no one who could help me. No one but myself. I was already planning on working on a cure anyway, and what better reason could there be than doing this to save myself? I told no one about my affliction and set out to do what many others have failed to. Any materials I needed to start my work were easily acquired by just waving my statue around. I had free reign over my own lab. I could have even gotten an assistant if I wanted to, but I knew they would only be liabilities. I even had a few good leads for ways to combat this disease, although the ones that I chose to pursue was not exactly legal. Not without prior approval by the council. My research was promising though, and while I submitted the paperwork, I knew that these things always move slowly. Being pushed through the various board and committees could have taken months, if not years, depending on how generous they would be. I just couldn't afford to wait that long, as I was working against the clock. So while waiting for the paperwork to be approved, I had already started with my work. I fully expected them to approve it eventually. How could I not, given them what I was tackling, an incurable disease? The method I was going to use was not necessarily a new one, but it was controversial. It didn't even cross my mind that anyone would object, seeing as I would cure thousands, if not millions, for future people. But I was younger then, and a little more naive than I am now. In the end, my whole project came crashing down in flames. The proposal that I was sure would be approved was ultimately rejected, putting all the work I had already done into jeopardy. I had already made good progress at the time too. After the rejection, there was going to be an inspection of my workplace in order to determine the progress I had made on the project, which I assumed had been within legal bounds and didn't include the controversial things outlined in the paperwork. Of course, that meeting was just going to be a pretense because I knew there were already rumors going around about what they really meant in my lab. In the end, I had very little warning. Thankfully, I managed to dispose of the most egregious evidence before they arrived. They found proof of my wrongdoings, but since they didn't find evidence of how far I had already processed, I was able to deny most of the accusations. Using the controversial method when I hadn't been approved was still seen as a very grievous offense, however. I was charged and sentenced harshly, though the sentence was suspended due to their having lack of evidence. With all I had done for them, they knew better than to take away my license, and I was able to continue work in other areas, on the condition that I was within a council-owned facility. I see. So I assume that those tests on me were against whatever conditions they set for the suspended sentence? Exactly. Why didn't you just do things the proper way and wait for the paperwork to clear? Before my paperwork could even get through, I'd be long gone. You'd be long gone. Using you as a test subject would have been a process that the council would have discussed with humanity. As such, there might be another trade agreement and who knows what else. I just didn't have the time. Quite frankly, I don't even know how much longer I have left. This is my death sentence. You thought my test result would help you find a cure? And that's never going to happen now. How did they find out so quickly? It's not been that long since I came to your lab. I wasn't just on those tests. There was Reza too. But Reza told me he didn't give you any of his blood when you asked for his. Because it's not what I got from him. This is my life we're talking about. Do you think I didn't spend hours on the ground in the hallway of the facility after Reza's first visit, trying to find a stray hair or anything else I could use? Or that when I gave him that first generator, I didn't try to graze his skin just enough so that I could salvage a few skin cells? How did they find out about all this? It was Damien, my assistant, that piece of shit. He was blackmailing me. Why? Because he's jealous of me, jealous of my success. He found out what I was going with the stuff I could salvage from Reza. Didn't mind giving him what he wanted though. I just wanted to live. When he died and the police searched his apartment, they found all the evidence he had on me. And now everything is coming down. I will be punished to the full extent of the law and I will die in prison. My work will forever be tainted now that I care about Not that I care about it when I'm dead. Do you remember that childhood friend of mine I told you about? Never want to end up like her, but it seems not even I can do anything to escape that fate. Maybe I deserve it. Maybe it's my punishment. I have to die like she did because I left her. Man, I will spend my life days bedridden in a prison cell and no one will visit me or care. And you know what? With all that data I got from you, I might actually found a cure. I don't want to cry in front of you. I don't want the attention or the pity. I don't want it. I didn't cry back when I was diagnosed, and I'm sure as heck not going to cry now. I admit I was selfish, always. Yet I did great things. At least that's what everyone kept telling me. You know what? After the whole affair back then, and the suspended sentence, rumors about me never stopped. Did they warn you about me? Tell you to stay away? I'm sure they have. Why are you still here? I didn't listen to them. Guess I just like you. The council, Damien, Remy, they were always sabotaging me. If everyone just left me alone, I wouldn't even need your help. Why couldn't everyone just leave me alone? When they gave me this manager position at the facility, that was just to distract me even more, giving me free reign over the lab so I'd be tempted to do something I shouldn't. How could I not at least try? One of their oh so important founding principles is how every individual is important. That's clearly not the case with me, at least they never showed it that was. Now I can see just how different you are. You are the only one who came to me willingly and without any ulterior motives. Or did you? You invited me, I just took the invitation. Just to use you. And you still came back for more. You let me do all those tests on you. Sure, you complained like a pro, but you set it out for me. I owed it to you. You don't owe me anything anymore. So what? Maybe I won't have to die alone after all. I don't know if I'll be able to be there. It doesn't matter. You already done more than enough for me. I remember. I remember you when I die. Anyway, enough of that. I hope you don't mind me hanging around here. My place still looks like the police raided it. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened. Do you need help cleaning up? No, I can pay someone to do it later. Just don't want to be there right now. Nice apartment you've got there, by the way. Not quite as fancy as mine, but it isn't bad either. I guess the council treats you nicely, huh? Hey, wasn't my decision. You're such a VIP, aren't you? It can't be that important if your apartment is nicer than this. Besides, after your rhetoric about being wild and all that when we went on our date, I assumed you were more the type of person who just lives in a hole in the ground. That's not what I said. I told you I can appreciate all kinds of different experiences. I could survive in the wilds if I wanted to, though. Do you want to know what I did on my last vacation? I just started walking in a random direction. Spent a week in the wilderness before I came back. That must have been an adventure. I wouldn't be able to do that without tools. I could give you some tips if you like. Not sure if I ever need them, but I guess they come in handy. Actually, there's one tip that should take care of everything. Let's hear it then. Just be a dragon. Then you got everything you need and don't want to rely on tools and this other stupid stuff. Yep, that's super helpful. How do you think I'm supposed to do that? Not my problem. Actually, can you tell me about your advanced in genetic engineering? Maybe you could make it happen. My personal ones? I was speaking more of your society as a whole, but if you have personal experience, that could also be interesting. We could do much if we wanted to. Cloning, genetic scrambling, or hybrids of various different species. Heck, we could even create new species if we wanted to, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Tampering with genetics is not allowed. Why? Our enlightened society does not see any value in it. Besides, you know about the creation myth, right? The one about human creating you? Yep, that one. It's the only one we have. Anyway, we are not to tamper with the perfect image after which we were created. And what would those be? The belief is that each species was molded to a particular task or a particular role in our society. Really? I wouldn't have thought that. Huh? Some of them aren't even wrong. I suggest certain species should go into certain jobs because of their natural higher aptitude to those fields. Can you give an example? Well, let's just say that while everyone can join the police force, you'll never be flyer on duty unless you belong to a species that can fly. That much is a given. I was talking about if there's any sort of discrimination, for example.
You could say so. These structures can be pretty rigid in places, especially where the council is concerned. They really like to employ the members of the various species in their traditional roles. Ironically enough, the perpetual nuisance, as Remy was a revolutionary case where that didn't happen. In what way? Well, a council's aide, particularly one who works in the archives, is usually a member of a species with more dexterous hands. You can't really expect a four-legged species to do that with kind of jobs well. And he doesn't. It's really been a disaster. He's basically becoming a laughingstock for the whole town. When Remy initially got the position, there was a lot of controversy about the subject. Some liked it, some didn't. I thought that for Amara, politics was a popularity contest. Doing something controversial and divisive like that doesn't really fit that image. She wasn't liked it in the beginning. It certainly caused people to remember her though, and now that people know her, she has changed her attitude a bit. It was a good move because it kept her in the spotlight all the time, and she's using it to gain popularity now. So she likes the attention. I don't know why she does it, and frankly, I don't care. You'd have to ask yourself, but I doubt she'd tell you. I wouldn't expect honesty from someone like her. Politics always used to be so messy back home. Scandals, arguments, lies, they were everywhere. We do get the occasional scandal from time to time, and of course there's always rumors you can't really make the people to stop talking. In a way, I'm glad we don't have all that anymore. Why not? At some point it just gets tiring. People get loud and argumentative, and those are supposed to be our leaders. That's not something people would like here. If you're a council member who wants to be popular, you don't engage in that kind of behavior. That sounds like a nice change of pace. Not necessarily, since it also leads to reluctant agreements and sweeping issues that should be talked about under the rug. You know what? It doesn't jive with me. They live to preserve this fantasy of peace and harmony in our society. For me, it's just so fake. People pretend to be something they aren't to conform because they don't want to stand out. They become faceless puppets like drones in a hive or cogs in a machine. This all hits differently after the administrator stated how the dragons were designed to be. What kind of world do we live in where speaking one's mind is seen as something bad? I've never held back. Now see where that got me. I bet some would agree that it would be easier to conform then. I could never do that, and besides, I don't want to. There is this thing called integrity, and if there's one thing the society needs, that's it. Now you're starting to sound like a politician. If that's what your politician sounds like, maybe they aren't so bad. Sometimes I just want to talk up to some of ours and shake them until they wake up and accept the truth. What is the truth? I'm a scientist. Truths are facts that are empirically verifiable by science and tests. After all, the tests I do in my job are to find out if assumptions are true or not. I suppose if you ask different people, the definition of truth would be very different. What's truth to you then? I know that I know nothing. What's that supposed to mean? It's a philosophical phrase. It means that ultimately we can't really know anything with absolute certainty. Yeah, philosophically is nice and all, but that doesn't really help me with when I'm in the lab. You do seem to like talking about this kind of stuff though. I'm not an ambassador for nothing, you know. You're an ambassador so you can discuss the nature of truth with different cultures, you know? If you ask the wrong kind of person, these kinds of discussion would turn very ugly. I'm certainly here to learn about what you're thinking and how your society works on a deeper level. Of course I wouldn't just walk up to someone on the street and start talking. Maybe you should be talking with someone in social studies then. Not necessarily. Even if someone like that gave me their opinion, it's still important to hear the people's voice themselves. Okay, anything else you want to know? How much do you really like me? That's not the kind of question I was expecting. You called me when things went down, and you say you don't really know anyone else? So what? Is it that hard to admit you like someone? You know me a little by now. You know what I'm like. Whatever you're looking for, I know I'm not that kind of material. Not even as a friend. You want to use emotionally laden words to describe your relationship. We've met a few times, and that does it for you. This isn't about me. Before anything happens to either of us, I just want to know. You want me to tell you how I feel about you. Even if something happens between us, You know it's not made to last. You will go back to your own world and probably spend the next few years in prison. And I'll probably spend the next few years in prison. You wouldn't like the commitment anyway, wouldn't you? True. I would let something like that hold me back. People don't like me and I don't like people. That's how it's always been. Right now, though, I have to say that you're probably the person I hate the least. That's something, I guess. And I also can't deny that you have a certain exotic quality about you. Now you're talking. But enough about me. If you've put up with me for this long, it can't all just be your own unselfish kindness, can it? I don't hate you too. I guess we feel the same way then. You know, this might be our last opportunity to do something. Why not make it worth it? If you say so. You know what? I'm completely down for it. Is that a yes? Yep. She strode forward, reaching out with a claw before she hooked into the neckline of my shirt. She's one cute dino. What are you doing? Well, we have to take these off, don't we? Not like that. You ruin them, I'll do it. Alright, so fuzzy. I hope I can show this on stream. Another free day. Yep. I need a fuck. My phone is going places today. Not a free day, yay me. I'll be right back though. I have to go to the ceramic firm real quick. So I'm back. So, and I literally just fucked around and find out of her, didn't I? Impressed. Wait a minute, someone... Wait a minute, who is missing? Whom's the fuck is missing? First of all, I want to save. Not because I want to stop, but I should really save right now. But I can't remember for the gist of it who is missing there. Is it? Oh god, where the fuck is Lorem? Is it? I think it has to be Lorem.
I think Lorem is dead. Well, let's meet up with Remy though. Hey Remy.
Hello, Ryder.
Is there any particular reason why you wanted to meet me here?
I enjoy Tatsu Park is all. Have you been here before?
A few times.
I see. Well, what do you think of it?
It's pretty idyllic.
It is. I like it a lot here.
You mentioned you wanted to talk to me about something.
Well, yes, about that. I just have a lot of my mind that I felt like I need to tell someone.
I wouldn't burden you if I had anyone else to talk to, but the simple fact is that I don't. Hey, you can talk to me, Remy.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
It's not a problem. What's on your mind?
I don't even know where to begin. Do you ever feel like there's an emptiness inside you, that every day is the same joyless routine that you wish you could escape, but you can't?
Oh yeah, it's called depression, my guy.
I see.
Is this about Amara again?
Well, it's not just about her, but working with her doesn't make things any easier. To think that just a few years ago I was the happiest I could have been, and now I have nothing but my miserable life.
What happened?
It's a long story.
We have a lot of time.
Okay, well... Okay, why is chapter 4 suddenly turning so depressing? First I have to learn about quantum physics, and now I get one depressive arc over the other, but I also guess I fucked the dragon, so I think I have to get my official board license from Pet later. A few years ago I worked in the public sector. I mean, I still do, but my position was a different one. I didn't work under a minister back then. I was part of a committee tasked with providing independent and factually baked opinions on community topics. It was supposed to help not only politicians but also the general populace. Free roam outside interference. We did our own fact-checking based on research and publicity, publicly reported our findings. Our individual members didn't always agree, but we made sure that the end results were based on verifiable facts. In this way, we offered a variety of comprehensive opinions on difficult topics. We found the truth and allowed people to politicians to make up their minds from there. Our work was a key influence in the community, and because the conclusions of each individual member were often very different, it could never be said that we were biased. It was during one such assignment that I met a certain person named Amelia. My task was to determine the viability of several projects, each competing for research granted from a council. Amelia was a member of one of the scientific teams vying for a grant. She was an inventor, and her group was looking for ways to streamline hospital process and test by utilizing new technology. The first time I saw her was when our committee watched her group's pitch. One of the things we had to do was determine whether their claims and goals are realistic. In her case, they were. Ultimately, they didn't get the grant, but when she recognized me in a restaurant a while later, she started talking. She was very smart and I admired her spirit. She just wanted to help people with her talents, and in this way she reminded me a lot of myself. We kept seeing one another and we grew close. Before long we were dating. It felt so right. I thought that our relationship was about to become very serious, but then she informed me that her research group had applied for another grant. Of course, that complicated things. My committee was once again tasked with judging the viability of the different projects, and while I intended to stay impartial on the matter, she would probably be seen as an influence due to our relationship. With these concerns in mind, we decided to not meet again until the grant winner was determined. We hadn't expected her group to get it, but in the end, they did. We didn't want to end our relationship over something like that, but if word got out that we were together during the decision-making period, it would have put both our jobs in jeopardy. In the end, we decided to wait and made a commitment. 6 months after the grant was given to her team, we would return to one another and make our relationship public. That much time would have ensured that it wouldn't be an issue. We even made plans to move in together when at the time. But we never got that far. I only know the rest of what happened from various reports, but apparently Amelia got sick. Nothing serious, mind you. She continued working from home as best as she could. The project was already behind schedule and she didn't want to endanger it.
People were critical and were serious about the project would amount to, and she didn't want to be responsible for its failure if she took some days off to recuperate. So every day she continued working on the project until the dead of night. One late evening, she went out to pick up her medication. In addition to something to help her stay awake, but she was sick and overworked. The combination of the prescription side effects and the supplements caused her to collapse. No one was around to see her fall. When she was found the next day, she was covered by a blanket of fresh snow. It was too late. She froze to death during the cold winter night. If someone was with her, this would not have happened. But she died out there, all alone. All because we kept our relationship a secret. We had plans to move in together. We even talked about having our whole small family. Some things are just not meant to be, it seems. If I had to identify the moment life started going downhill, losing Amelia would be it. My heart was ripped out the moment, and now only emptiness remains. It's like a wound that never closes. Maybe you saw those pictures in my apartment. Even my home is a reminder of her. We were going to move into that apartment together. And this tie I'm wearing, I got it from her as well. When she gave it to me, she said it was red like her scales. As long as I wore it, she would be with me in a way. For so long I've been holding on with her with all my might. I wish I could stop because I know it's killing me, but I've been doing it for so long that I don't think I can. Yet in some way, holding on to Amelia has helped me. When I look back on all the happy memories we made, Amara's bullying hurts a little less, only because the memories hurt so much more. And I would love my job if it wasn't for Amara. It's a constant struggle, a battle I have to fight every day. Each of her words sliced through me, creating new wounds on the top of the others that never closed. Some days I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't know how much longer I can. I'm not sure if there's anything that can fill the void. Have you ever spoken to a professional about this? No, I don't think I could, not with a stranger. Thank you, Raidra. Getting all that off my chest already helped a lot. No problem, Remy. Anything else on your mind? Well, there is the whole thing about Anna. Yeah, you mentioned it last time. Are you still worried about her? I am. Who knows what horrible thing she's working on in her lab. There's nothing I can do to stop her. You did what you could. The rest is up to the authorities now. Guess so. Can't help but feel a little pity for her too. With her condition, I imagine that the ministry disapproval must have been a tough pill to swallow. What are you talking about? She has cancer. Oh, fuck. That hit me somewhere. That just hit me somewhere. Oh. Oh God. Oh, for fuck's sake. I should have seen it coming. When she was talking about disease that was only treatable but not curable. I should have seen it coming. I didn't thought they would be on the nose with that. Oh. Now everything hits at once. Oh. Oh. Oh, I just need a minute right now. Oh. Oh, fuck. That hit me
somewhere in the fields. Oh, I didn't even know I was able to those emotions. Oh. I don't even blame the game. This is a combination I shouldn't have done. I got deep enough in the relationship with Anna that I learned all about her past and how fucked she is because she broke the regulations. This is already a deep blow, and now going to Remy, him talking about the whole thing with Amelia. Death is already a difficult topic for me. All I say is Luna Freya, Final Fantasy 15, and good thing I never played any more games that have this theming because there are so many media where I couldn't handle death. But I didn't thought that hearing she has cancer would hit me that fucking hard. I don't even know if it's because I don't even know if cancer is such a cancer, literally. I'm not even sure if it's because of my sister. I mean, she survived, but still, if it's because I lost my grandpa not only a year ago because of it. I'm fine, I just need a minute. Oh, this hit me. I didn't thought it could hit me that hard. Oh, damn it. I see. Who knows how much longer she has? Knowing that, every day must be difficult for her. Remy paused and gave me an embarrassing smile. Quite a bit of time has passed since you arrived, and now you've barely been able to speak. I've been talking a lot. I don't mind. There must be a lot on your mind too. Not really. Since I work with Amara, I know all the details surrounding you and Riza. Not many do. Many rumors are going around town. All this time you've been working with our police. Yeah. And now you're haunting the person who was supposed to be your partner. That must be really hard for you. I came here because I want to do the right thing. Nothing about that has changed. What kind of person is Riza anyway? A kind that stops at nothing to achieve what he believes in. I can see that. We've already witnessed just how far we will go. What do you think about him? Honestly, I'm not sure. Back home, this relentless quality of his was admired, but I certainly don't condone his actions. Given what I know about him, I think he must have a reason, as weird as twisted as it may be. And what about you? I have my own principles. I see. How's your Aunt Riza going anyway? Not too great. We don't have any strong leads or any idea of his whereabouts in the end. We're just following his trail of murder and destruction. People are getting afraid. The rumors are starting to take effect. I thought Emira was going to give a press conference to warn the public. That didn't happen. She feared the potential backlash if people knew about Riza, while you were still here, so for the time being, he has been declared as a missing person. The public has been informed that if someone sees him, they are to call the police immediately. They were told he may be suffering from an affliction that makes him behave erratically. But some people are putting two and two together. No one has seen Riza for a while, even before he was officially declared missing. It's easy to line up the timelines and see that the murder started happening shortly after he vanishes. What we know about the break-ins and thefts are also damning. The objects stolen all point towards Riza. I'm not sure how much longer they can keep this a secret. How do you think the public will react considering that I'm still staying here? I don't know. We can't really predict the public opinion, but you can bet there will be critical voices. I'm not sure how I could convince everyone that I'm not involved with Riza's plans. Oh, hoppla. Well, you do have the council support. If Amara voiced that you were on our side, it wouldn't be so bad if the public found out. Yeah, but she also made it clear that she believes most people won't have the same opinion. She also won't support me publicly if their vote is against me.
It is true. Mara plays the political game a lot. She aligns with the popular opinion so people will like her. That's a good tact. I can't blame her. I can't really blame her for that. After all, she's supposed to be a representative of the people, right? I suppose so. Does the public know about the portal's current state? No, if it can be fixed, it wouldn't be worth mentioning, and if they can't fix it, they are going to announce it before they know how to deal with the current situation. Compared to Riza, it's not really a problem. It might become one pretty soon. If word gets out, I'm suddenly his accomplice. What would happen to me? What would happen to me? How would you even deal with Riza if you caught him? I'm not sure. I suppose we would have to work something out between our legal system and whatever humanity has to say on that matter. And if the portal is done for, what then? Then humanity would be out of the picture for any legal proceeding. Riza would like to be held until contact has been re-established or just serve a sentence here. I see. How do your jails work anyway? Well, if a crime has been committed and proven without a doubt, a jail sentence can be the consequences. All delinquents live in an area separated from the rest of society, monitored at all hours of the day. They receive the help they need and effort are taken to make them realize their wrongdoings and integrate them back into our community. Life isn't as much different there than it is here. The spaces are more cramped for sure, but mostly it is just a very controlled environment. That's not much of a punishment. It is a consequence, not necessarily a punishment, or society at large benefits from people who are rehabilitated, and if mental issues are the cause, those can't at least be found and addressed. That sounds like how it used to be back home. These days in our city, you get free strikes. What does that mean? The free infractions of our rules and you get thrown out of the city. If someone is a drain on our limited resources, we won't support them. Well, I can understand why you need to incorporate such a policy. To the finality of it makes me a bit uneasy. It has worked so far, and it's not as if the outside is completely unkind. Someone expelled from the city might find a different community or join one of the mobile groups. The situation inside our city-state is still much better than the outside, though. We're very strict with those allowed to live there. It is a privilege. Anyone or anything that threatens the inside of society or the lives of its people is removed very quickly. How would a murderer like Riza be dealt with in an eye for an eye? No, we don't do that, but murder is a crime so heinous that immediate exploitation is the consequence, regardless of prior infractions. I see, what do the cities think about the system? Some agree with the methods, some don't, but as long as it works, people don't complain. Weeding out undesirable elements is what keeps the standard for living intact. I guess it means politics don't play a big role where you come from. No, they don't change the working system. It varies here, but I'm so tired of Amara and her games. As I work with her, I can see exactly how she plays the public. I know every council member has their own approach, but everything she does is so tailored towards the public expectations. For her, it's just a popularity contest. I know, you know what? That gives me an idea. Really? What is it? The human visit of all the associated consequences are the responsibility, right? Yes. For her, the situation with Riza must be utterly horrifying. She keeps talking about preventing public backlash, but she's really just trying to protect herself. That sounds accurate? Maybe we can use that to our advantage. How? She can't send me back to my world right now. That makes me the only one here with knowledge of Riza and humans in general. That's true. If I speak from this point of authority, we should have much easier time convincing her of anything we want. You couldn't convince her to let you stay in your world, though. Yes, but I was trying to use reason and plead with her. I didn't take into account her fear of public backlash. I think we can manipulate her, this fear of hers, and use it to our advantage. If there were consequences to fear from Riza, me, or the rest of humanity, and those consequences would make her look bad to the public, that would be the reason for her to reconsider any action, right? I suppose, yeah, but what situation could this apply to? She nearly sent me back through the portal. If she tries anything again, at least we have something we can use against her. I think I see where you're coming from. Riza is still a mystery to me, though. All things considered, wouldn't it be beneficial for him to just stay here? No offense, but even all prisons offer a better standard of living than your city. As such, couldn't be a reason for him to have vandalized the portal. I don't think so. You're right, your word is in much better shape than ours, but even if Riza could stay here, he wouldn't. He came here for the same reason I did, to help all people. He has a very pronounced sense of duty to humanity, and I believe in him. When he stepped through the portal, he proclaimed that he would do everything he could. When I met him again in this world, I had the impression that he wanted to get our mission over with as soon as possible so he could return to our world with aid. That's going to be difficult with a portal out of order. The person who did it probably didn't realize it was a very good idea. This might make Reza even more desperate. Who knows what they will do next? And if anything happens, I can't leave either. If the portal is gone for good, I suppose you'd have to stay here. What do you think about that? It wouldn't be so hard. It wouldn't be so hard, of course. I still want to help our city, but if there was no way to return, I wouldn't mind living here. I see. Only now do I realize that everything I told you earlier must seem so pretty compared to the struggle you face. We all have our own struggle. Just because someone has it harder than someone else doesn't mean their pain is invalidated by the quantity of it. Not every person can handle the same amount of pain, physically or mentally. But every person has the same right to get help. To get help, not the attention, but just because someone has it harder than you doesn't mean he is more deserving of treatment and help than you are. This is an important thing I always try to remember. Yeah, there are, evilly said, yeah, there are people starving in Africa. Doesn't mean that my depression is less invalidated by it. Yeah, my sister lost her leg. Doesn't mean I have a shitty life as well. My parents knew that. My friends knew that. My sister herself knew it. She knows. She lost her leg. I lost my life. At least part of it. Still kicking, but at what cost? I don't even say this anymore as a context to the game. I say this all together now because I think it's the right thing to say. Never, ever invalidate your own problems because someone has it harder than you. Your problems are also as much of a problem as anyone else's. And you deserve as much help and compassion from the people around you to help resolve those problems as anyone else. It is never a matter of how strong they are or how much prioritized they are. Anybody deserves help. Anybody deserves compassion. No one is privileged to more help because he has harder struggles, and nobody is destined to have less help because he has less struggles. If we only go by the intensity of the problem, then the smaller problems will stable each other up until they turn into the biggest problem you will ever face. And this is a point you will never want to reach. I say this from experience. Never forget that you are also important to someone. If not to yourself, then to those around you. There will always someone care for you, no matter how much harder they have it or how less harder you have it. I suppose that's true. I can't even imagine the life must be like on where you are from. Back home, I was just trying to survive and help others to do the same. It hasn't changed. I'm almost afraid of going back to the city though. Times are so rough. Yet, even if I didn't have to go back, I would. I can't just let them down like that, you know. I have to try and do what I can. That's why I came here. I wish I could be that strong. Who says you can't? I don't know, You told me about your old job. Yeah, I miss those days, what about it? It's not exactly the same as saving a city, but you were helping people, right?
It's true. Maybe once your term with Amira is over, you could do something like that again. I really wish I could. I just realized something. What is it? I was trying to figure out why you wanted to hang out with me so often. What are you talking about? Since Amelia died, I've been alone. It's been years, I don't even have anyone I could consider a friend. When you came to our world and started to spend time with me, I thought maybe things were able to change, that maybe I found a friend. But you're not that different. You make fun of me and belittle me just like everyone else. Even after everything I told you about myself, I don't care. You don't care about me, do you? If it was just your entertainment, that's alright. That's what people do to me. They watch and laugh in secret or otherwise. I'm beginning to realize that maybe it's not their fault. Maybe it's me. Goodbye, Red. Wait, what happened? When did I fuck it up? When did I fuck it up with Remy? Don't tell me just because the one time I defended Anna. I mean, I didn't... Wasn't I just... Huh? Not only he is the fuck happened? How? Didn't I just try my best to help him to help him? To give him the confidence he needed? What did I do wrong? And Adine is also gone. I think that was her name. I'm really bad with names sometimes. Adine, yeah, that's what her name was. But I'll be honest, I think I need a break for now. We're also streaming for almost 4 hours again, and I don't know how many chapters we have left, but right now I need a break. I just had so many emotions right now. I'm also very confused about what happened to Remy, or what happened with Remy, cause that just confused the shit out of me. Like tell me where I was wrong. Maybe Pat will elaborate to me later, but I was trying to help him. What did, especially like right now the part with the I just make fun of him. Like when I had, huh? Besides the one time I was trying to defend Anna, I can't remember another time where I picked on him, and if not intentionally. So I just feel bad right now. But yeah, that's I think we have to resolve that issue next time when I stream. And like always, I make the empty promise of trying to stream more often and with less breaks. So we will see about that. Yeah, I'm just still under the emotional backlash right now. Not just because of Remy, but because of the of everything. But yeah, yeah. If you want to contact, why do I say that? I thank you for watching. My socials are in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and shit. Yeah, have fun. I will try to stream as soon as possible. See ya.